official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
We can't hear me. Jesus, welcome on, guys. Broadcasting our next game, Nigeria versus Argentina. Right, okay, so far today, Australia 0, Peru 2, Denmark and France ended 0-0. To that, for the table stands for Group C. France and Denmark are through. Peru and Australia are out of here. So concentrating on Group D now. Croatia, Nigeria, both in first and second place. Croatia in first with 6 points, Nigeria 3 points, Iceland with 1 point, with -2 goal difference, and Argentina -3 goal difference. So Iceland can still head up and get into the round 16. Pretty much impossible though, but we'll keep an eye on it. We're giving you updates, of course, from Iceland and Croatia, but our main game this evening is Nigeria and Argentina, then tomorrow. So all happening again, Group F's turn now, with Czech Republic versus Germany and Mexico versus Sweden. That's the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and then at 7 o'clock you've got Siberia and Brazil, and also you've got Switzerland and Costa Rica. So looking at the moment, let's join our BBC teams and we'll give you live coverage now. Argentina need a win. Nigeria's got it in the bag. Let's see where it'll end, shall we?
The World Cup. This is SJ Radio.
This is the 13th day of this World Cup, and already today Denmark have made it through to the last 16 with France. Tonight it could be the end of the World Cup road for Argentina here in Russia, and possibly forever in the World Cup for Lionel Messi. The teams are preparing themselves for the start of the match. Nigeria unchanged, with Francis Uzoho, their goalkeeper, the 19-year-old. 3 central defenders, Balogun, Ikong and Omaruo. Victor Moses and Brian Adowu are the wing-backs. Adowu, who was born here in St. Petersburg. In midfield, Ndidi, Etebo and Captain Mikel, with Ahmed Musa and Kelechi Iheanacho up front. And the Argentina team, 5 changes from the defeat against Croatia in their previous match. Franco Armani of River Plate, 31 years old, makes his debut tonight, wins his first cap. A back 4 of Mercado, Otamendi, Rojo and Tagliafico. In midfield, Perez and Mascherano. And then Ever Banega, Lionel Messi the captain, Angel Di Maria, and up front Gonzalo Higuain. So no Aguero, as expected. He is left out of the team this evening, and there's no place in the starting lineup again for Paulo Dybala. So we are ready for kick-off here in the beautiful, beautiful city of St. Petersburg, the most northerly of all of these World Cup destinations this year. Nigeria will get us underway. Mikel, with the first touch of the match, plays it back into his central defence, where it's fired forward and straight out of play it bounces for a throw-in to Argentina. This is the St. Petersburg World Cup venue, the Krestovsky Stadium as it is normally known. It is named after the island we're on here in the Gulf of Finland. And Argentina, with blue and white everywhere you look around this stadium, a magnificent support. And here is Mascherano in centre midfield for them, playing it out towards the left-hand side, where it is taken down by Banega, and they go back into central defence, with Mascherano dropping right back in there between the 2 central defenders, the Manchester pair of Rojo and Otamendi. And here is Nicolas Otamendi, Premier League winner this season, of course. Back to Mascherano, who has done an awful lot of talking this week when all of the stories have been swirling around the Argentina camp. Back into central defence it goes, with Otamendi, who crosses the halfway line and chips a pass out towards the left-hand side, which is way over the head of Tagliafico. I think there's a little bit of adrenaline in that, Chris, the way that he hit that. It's out of play for a throw-in to Nigeria.
Well, Nigeria have started with a 3 at the back, and they're playing very deep. Sometimes go straight into the 5 when Argentina had the ball there. A lot of bodies in front, not allowing Messi, who's playing as a 10. He's actually started to go to the right-hand side slightly tonight, Messi, where he plays more or less a lot with Barcelona over the years, but they're going to crowd every time he gets the ball, so he's got to try and find space, but they're not going to allow him that space. As soon as Argentina pick the ball up, they all get behind the ball and drop deep.
Chris Waddle with his 62 caps for England, played against Argentina in the World Cup, and we are watching Nigeria playing the ball back to their young goalkeeper Uzoho, who we watched make that poor error actually against Harry Kane's goal at Wembley. And at the other end now, Franco Armani gets a touch of the ball first time, and he gets a huge cheer as well from the Argentina fans trying to settle him into the national team. He played for many years, as we heard from Tim Vickery a few minutes ago, in Colombia with Atlético Nacional. He did think about taking up Colombian nationality, but moved back to Argentina. He plays for River Plate, and Russia, this World Cup squad, was the first time he'd been in the national squad for Argentina. And after Caballero made that error, the conceding of the goal against Croatia, in he comes for his debut. So big night for him too. Argentina in possession with the ball on the right hand side, but it rolls out of play. Heavy touch actually by Messi, and it's out for a throw into Nigeria halfway inside their own half. Obviously we're here in the stadium in St. Petersburg, but Arlo White and Stephen Warnock are in a BBC studio keeping you across the Iceland-Croatia match as well, and so as soon as anything happens there, we'll hear from them, because this group, there could be a number of complications during the course of the evening, as Argentina win a free kick just over the halfway line on the right hand side, and it's thrown back after the foul on Perez, Enzo Perez, and Argentina have the free kick, although they're not going to be able to hit it forward with Messi, but actually he goes back into his own half. There was a Nigerian player in front of the ball. Mascherano, he's seen a lot of possession in the early stages. Cagey start by Argentina. Otamendi tries to drill a pass through the middle, which finds its way all the way through to goalkeeper Uzoho.
That's twice Otamendi's tried a crossfield ball out of play, one straight through to the goalkeeper this time. I think Argentina are trying to keep it simple, move it quick, and see if they can get a bit of space to get Messi on the ball.
It's cleared downfield by the Nigerian goalkeeper, straight out of play for a throw-in to Argentina, and back it goes to Armani. So this is BBC 5 Live. Great to have you with us here in Russia at the World Cup. You can listen via the BBC Sport app, get in touch at 5 Live Sport, and we're also live across Africa this evening, so great to have you with us as well. People listening on BBC Africa and live in Canada, I believe, as well. So we're going all around the world. Nigeria 0, Argentina 0, and there are Nigerian supporters, let's make that absolutely clear, inside the ground, but they are very much in the minority. Over to our left, these eye-catching Nigerian shirts are actually not wearing them this evening. It's the all bottle green kit they're wearing with the lighter green numbers, but Argentina, blue and white shirts, black shorts. Here's one for Di Maria to chase. I'm thinking he's going to struggle to reach it. In actual fact, he was flagged offside. He's offside.
It's a nervous start, sort of positive, but a lot of nerves there you can see from Argentina. They're not really releasing the ball quickly. They all look a little bit nervous. And as for Nigeria, they know exactly what to do. So they're just sitting all behind the ball when they lose it. And it's very difficult for Argentina to take a risk at the minute.
So it is 0-0. Argentina and Nigeria in the same group for the 5th time in Nigeria's 6 World Cups. And Argentina have won all of the previous matches, but all of them by just the 1 goal difference. We were at the last one, weren't we, Chris? Do you remember 4 years ago in Porto Alegre, when we saw a really entertaining game which finished 3-2 to Argentina? Lionel Messi scored in that game. He's not scored in the World Cup since. He's still looking for his first goal of the tournament this year in what is widely expected to be his last World Cup. He turned 31 just 2 days ago, Lionel Messi. Nigeria with the ball at the back. Brian Idowu, who's a great story, the left wing back, plays it up towards Musa, who's challenged by 2 Argentine players, and the ball's deflected out, and Brian Idowu will take the throw in. Idowu manages to find the ball through the middle, which is taken on towards the edge of the area. The shot is hit. It then comes out to Ndidi, who's challenged on the edge of the box. The initial effort from Etebo was blocked on the edge of the area. And now Argentina can break with Lionel Messi, who runs centrally into trouble and is challenged. And he is fouled, according to Sunit Çakır, the Turkish referee, who we know very, very well. Mikel came in with a challenge on Messi, and it's a free kick to Argentina.
Yes, he's caught him on the knee. Messi was losing the ball, he was running inside. As soon as he picked the ball up, there's a cheer in the stadium, but you just think, all you see is green shirts just getting round him. Was 3 went to him when he picked the ball up, and yes, he gets a free kick out of it. Yeah,
don't want to tempt fate, but we shouldn't have a problem with the referee tonight. He's one of the best ones around. He's ref the Champions League final, and you never know, he might, Sunit Çakır, referee the World Cup final if all goes well for him. Here come Argentina after taking the free kick short. It's in the central position with Banega. Out it goes towards the right-hand side, where Mercado's available on the right, but it comes back centrally to Banega. And now Banega towards the edge of the penalty area. Tagliafico's taken it into the box, but he's hit the shot well wide. The left-sided defender of the Nigerian goal for a goal kick. 0-0.
Yep, that positive start. Messi's starting to get into the game. He's linked the play up a couple of times there. He's had a free kick, so the more they can get the ball in space. But give Nigeria credit, they're really closing Argentina down once to get over that halfway line.
Nigeria 0, Argentina 0. Higuain has not yet been able to get into the game. It's his first start at this World Cup. Aguero on the substitutes bench. Nigeria playing it forward over the top down the left-hand side. This is for Musa to take on. The challenge comes in on him, and Otamendi deflects it away out of play next to the corner flag. And Musa has continued his run and is preparing to take the throw out there. In the penalty area, Kelechi Iheanacho of Leicester is waiting. Unchanged side. And in fact, Musa is going to leave it for the throw to be taken by Wilfred Ndidi, another Leicester City man. He's right up against the hoardings on the far side. Here comes the high loopy throw, which is attempted to be headed on. In fact, it's headed away by Mercado. Comes out for Nigeria, and the sort of shoveling shot is hit by Musa, but it flies away over the top of Armani's goal by 1.5 yards.
Yeah, long throw, slowed the game down. Argentinian fans weren't happy that they changed the thrower, wasting time already, they think, but Musa gets the shot off eventually. Always going high.
Chris Waddle with us on 5 Live. Nigeria 0, Argentina 0. We have been able to see your old nemesis, haven't we? England's nemesis, Diego Maradona. We can clearly see him, actually. There's a middle tier all the way around this St. Petersburg stadium where the hospitality, the corporate boxes are, and he's almost directly opposite us, just slightly to the left. He's wearing a light blue t-shirt with his sponsor's name on, and he's watching Lionel Messi take the ball into the penalty area, and Messi crossing, but it's straight into the first defender. Messi, bright lime green boots on tonight. They're almost fluorescent. Ball's played over the top by Di Maria, but it's headed away calmly out of play for a throw-in to Argentina. In fact, it was kept in down here by Tagliafico, who goes infield to Mascherano. Javier Mascherano, 34 years old now. Just a couple of weeks ago, he turned 34, and here he is playing the ball to the left-hand side to Tagliafico. And Banega comes short, plays it back once again to Mascherano, and then back into the centre circle. But where Maradona is sitting over there, there are also a number of little temporary stands at the top of the lower section, and one of those temporary stands is right in front of where Maradona is sitting, and there are Argentina fans in there, and a number of them, I'll tell you in a moment, because Argentina with Messi, little ball back, now it makes its way out towards the right-hand side. Mercado is there, his cross into the penalty area is headed down and partly away, then it's stabbed back into the box, is stretched by Omarua, who's able to lift it away to comparative safety near the halfway line. Some nice stuff from Argentina there in the last couple of moves around the edge of the Nigerian box.
Yeah, when they move the ball quick, they look the part. Tagliafico is actually playing left back. I thought he was going to play centre half. Rojo obviously goes alongside. Perez, we thought was going to play left side, went right side. But the movement, and Messi's basically got that free roll. He balances off at times to the right hand side. But in a minute, you would say it's all Argentina in possession.
Yeah, Perez playing out on the right hand side. He's the man who came in, remember, for Manuel Lanzini when Lanzini picked up the injury, so the late addition to the squad. He's on the right, and Banega is more central. Here is Lionel Messi. Now back to Rojo in the centre circle. Banega's made himself available. Pass towards the edge of the box is intercepted, and then it's stabbed out of play for a throw-in to Argentina in front of the coaching area of Gernot Rohr, the German head coach of Nigeria. So still 0-0 here, so it is as you were in terms of the group position, because Arlo White, who's watching Iceland-Croatia,
it's 0-0 here as well, John. That would be enough to secure the group for Croatia. Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic running the show in central midfield. Iceland did just have a brief moment of positivity down the right-hand side. Alfred Finnbogason looked over to his left-hand side where Birkir Bjarnason was making his way into the penalty area, waving furiously for the ball. He couldn't get the pass to him. It remains 0-0.
Yes, Croatia top of the group with 6 points, Nigeria with 3, and Iceland and Argentina with 1. Nigeria on the attack with Iheanacho, but he just dwelt there for a moment, and in that moment Mascherano was able to come in with a challenge. Musa was hoping for the early pass. Instead, it's Higuain of Juventus who holds off the challenge from William Ikong. Now the ball on the right-hand side with Perez, all right foot. Gives it to Messi, 30 yards from goal. Messi attempts to thread it through the Nigerian back line, but Balogun, the new Brighton man, steps forward, cuts it out and hits it away downfield. That's a short pass by Mascherano. He's given the ball to Iheanacho. Iheanacho now to the edge of the area, and a brilliant sliding challenge from Mascherano to whip the ball away from Iheanacho. And he certainly made up for his initial error there, Javier Mascherano, with the most magnificent of defensive midfield challenges.
Well, he's given the ball away twice. He's just given it away again. He couldn't control it. Iheanacho should have got his head up. He had options to his left. Either pull the trigger or pass it.
Ndidi just overruns the ball in midfield. Now here is Higuain. 31 goals in his 75 internationals. I mean, such a wealth of options Argentina have, but as Tim Vickery said, there are so many of them in the same position. And Aguero, with 38 international goals in his 87 caps, is on the bench. And Dybala, who we've seen so brilliantly over the last couple of years for Juventus, has only made the one substitute appearance at this World Cup. So many countries would absolutely love to have him in their squad. Free kick to Nigeria, a foul on Idowu on the far side.
Well, you've got to say, Nigeria haven't had a lot of ambition. I know they're in the driving seat, so they're not going to take any risks. They're going to keep the game slow. This is the best spell they've had this last couple of minutes. They've actually put a few passes together. Argentina's took it off him again.
They have. So it is Argentina who are coming forward, actually, with Marcos Rojo, who turns and then plays it back to Banega, and Banega's ball over the top. Messi takes it down on his thigh, shoots and scores. Wonderful from Lionel Messi. A World Cup goal for the first time in 2018, and off he goes, sprinting away into the corner of this St. Petersburg stadium, and the reception is incredible from all of these blue and white shirted Argentines in the stands. They're on their feet, they love Messi, he's scored, and it's Nigeria 0, Argentina 1.
Well, who else would it be? We've been talked about all this tournament, not performing, not hitting the target enough, not doing enough for this, not enough. As soon as that ball goes over the defender's head, he's trying to step up and catch him offside. First touch with his thighs, second touch with his left foot, and what a finish with his right foot across the keeper. Absolutely no chance. Great finish, goalkeeper absolutely no chance. That is Lionel Messi at his best. Left foot, knee, foot, right foot shot. Brilliant goal. Absolutely quality.
Quality, class. Messi has it all. Oh, fantastic. What a fantastic goal.
It's Lionel Messi. Said before the game he wouldn't put it past him to score 3 tonight. You just don't know what he's going to do. He's that good.
Well, remember, it was Messi to the rescue in the last match for Argentina when they did finally qualify. They had to go to Quito in Ecuador at altitude, and he scored a hat-trick in that match to finish third in the group. That was in the South American qualifying section. Messi to the rescue then, Messi to the rescue now. 1-0, and that is the win. That is the winning scoreline that Argentina need. That would take them, if the scores stayed as they are, that would have Argentina going through in second place in the section.
I've got to say, John, I think Nigeria, young side, looks like they've froze a bit from the kick-off. They haven't played enough tempo. Yeah, when they've got over the halfway line, Argentina, they've closed them down, but they haven't shown enough energy for such a young side. They've got to work, they've got to ask questions. We know they can't defend very well, Argentina. They're not asking any questions.
Argentina 1-0 up then. BBC 5 Live at the World Cup, live here in St. Petersburg. Oh, and that's Di Maria's just been caught there as Balogun came in with a challenge. He slipped just as Balogun challenged for the ball, and he's caught him on the back of his ankle. It's going to be all right though.
How many times you say that?
At least 5 times a game.
That's how many times you said that over the years with Di Maria.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, actually, as I was saying that, I was thinking, I remember commentating on him when he was at Benfica doing this sort of thing. He's on his feet and he's able to take the free kick. A second goal for Argentina now. Send this players into absolute raptures. Di Maria waiting with his hands on his hips. He's just slightly off the field. He's about one pace off the field. It's 8 or 9 yards back from the limply hanging corner flag. Di Maria's delivery towards the far post is over everyone, and referee Czechia has spotted some pushing, and it's a free kick to Nigeria in their own penalty area. So we've seen it, Chris. We've seen Cristiano Ronaldo score a few goals at this World Cup. Now we've seen Lionel Messi score his first. It's a brilliant ball. I think it was Banega, wasn't it?
Banega. It's just a great ball. He runs, he makes the run, he makes Banega's mind up for him. That's what you do as a striker. You run, the player kicks it. Don't wait for the pass. Messi's off, trying to catch him offside. He was never offside. And after that, 3 touches, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah. His little feet were going in the way that almost only Lionel Messi's feet can. And he took it down, the aerial ball, he took it. He was in the D, I think, when he got the contact just on his thigh. The touch was brilliant. Even with his upper left thigh, he can produce magic. Brought it down superbly into his path, running through on the sort of rightish side of the penalty area, and the finish was emphatic. And it's Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. The long pass downfield, though, has resulted in a corner to Nigeria, who have to respond here. Scoreline as it is, they're going out of the World Cup. Iheanacho takes this corner, but it is headed away unchallenged by Rojo, and he's got a good header on it as well. He's found Di Maria, who's off and running, and Di Maria is handed off by Etebo on the halfway line. Down he goes. It's a free kick, but Etebo is unhappy with Di Maria's reaction to that, and points at him, slaps the ball away. Soon Czechia is going to have a word.
It's a joke, honestly. Di Maria at his best. The nominees for this year's Oscars.
Free kick to Argentina, and Etebo just gets a ticking off. And Sunit Czechia is just running across, actually, in Di Maria's direction, but the free kick's taken, and Argentina quickly work it out towards the right-hand side. Lionel Messi scored in the 14th minute of the match. So Argentina leading by the 1-0 to 0. So that means that Nigeria and Iceland are in danger of going out as the scores stand at the moment. In fact, let's get an update from Arlo again, who's watching the other match.
Iceland 0, Croatia 0. Stephen Warnock is alongside me. We haven't really seen too many clear goal scoring opportunities, but you said before the game, even with 9 changes for Croatia, that you fancied them tonight. How do you assess their performance? Already qualified, they need a point to win the group.
Very, very comfortable for them. They look like they can attack at any time they want and make it cut through Iceland. Iceland's game plan is to sit deep and make it difficult, and they're doing it to a certain degree, but they need more quality up front.
A yellow card for Marco Piazza for an elbow on the Aston Villa midfielder Birkir Bjarnason. That's the biggest action so far, John. 0-0 in Rostov.
No, it's going Argentina's way at the moment, but there's a long way to go. We've just played 20 minutes of the first half here in St. Petersburg on a beautiful evening. Absolutely glorious. There is still, through this roof above us, which can close, but it's open at the moment, we can see orangey sunshine on the white metalwork above our heads, and we're watching Argentina down at pitch level, coming forward. The ball is worked out of play, actually, in the end by Banega for a throw-in to Nigeria deep inside their own half that I think Victor Moses has come over to take. But I say it's the most northerly of the World Cup venues. We're actually on a similar line of latitude to the Shetland Islands where we are here. in this futuristic stadium, over 60,000 people inside it. Moses takes the throw back to goalkeeper Uzoho, just blasts it straight out of play for an Argentina throw near the dugout.
Yeah, it was a terrible throw, wasn't it, Moses? He throws it at the keeper, he's getting pressure from Higuain, and he just volleys it. He's not in control of it, he volleys it straight out of play. Got to say, so far Nigeria look like they look very nervous. It's Argentina with that goal advantage are growing in confidence as the game goes on. It's up to Nigeria to up the tempo.
But I mean, it's like playing an away game for Nigeria down in Argentina, because the support, the noise inside the stadium, they don't need any encouragement to get behind their team. We suspected, didn't we, when we arrived on the train in St. Petersburg yesterday evening, that it might be like this, because there were Argentines everywhere. Argentines at hotel reception today. We could hardly get through them, could we? There were so many of them. This wonderful city, I'm sure they've enjoyed it as well, because it's a tourist destination, and it's a wonderful looking city, certainly in weather like this, with its golden spires and domes and wonderful buildings. Nigeria coming forward with the ball through the middle, but a sliding tackle by Banega. Listen to the response to that from the Argentina fans. And then Di Maria fails to take it away. Balogun takes it on. He gets it back from Moses, takes a deflection down into the full-back position. Balogun then goes down rather easily from the challenge from Otamendi. Doesn't win the free kick, rightly so, I think, as well. I think he took a dive there. And Argentina are playing the ball away from the back with Mercado on the far side, and it comes back into central defence to Nicolas Otamendi, who passes it out towards the left-hand side, where Tagliafico exchanges the ball with Banega. Now to Mercado on the right-hand side. Perez has made a run down the right flank. They've definitely taken confidence from that goal, only the second that they've scored, Argentina, at this World Cup. Messi, the goal scorer. That for Lionel Messi now makes it 6 goals at the World Cup finals over the course of now 4 appearances in the tournament, and that is 6 goals in 18 appearances. Here's Di Maria on the left-hand side, tries to thread the pass through, but passes it straight at Balogun. Moses back to the tall central defender Balogun, who is closed down by Higuain, who deflected it out of play for a throw into Nigeria halfway inside their own half.
Just playing very simple. They've gone back to basics, haven't they? They've, a back four, 4-5-1 at times, or 4-4-2 at times, but they're all in zones, they're all playing in shape, they're moving the ball quick, there's a good balance about them, the tempo's good about Argentina. Nigeria, to me, it froze a bit.
Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. BBC 5 Live. As indeed he was in danger of losing possession to Messi, who did get a toe to the ball actually, but it ran out towards the far side, and Nigeria have been able to collect it. Indeed, he put under pressure by Mascherano, who's herring around everywhere. He's playing in the sort of central midfield role, but he's playing as the midfield general. He looks thoroughly pumped up for this game, Javier Mascherano. If Argentina do go out this evening, a number of these players in the blue and white shirt may well retire from international football. Mascherano, you'd think, would be one of them. The ball on the halfway line with Nigeria, but misplaced pass forward from Balogun, and then Victor Moses with a touch, and it runs out of play, and it's a throw in to Nigeria. And I sense that their coach down there in the dark blue shirt with the short sleeves, Gernot Rohr, is anxious about the way that things are going, because of the way that his team have started this match, with almost 25 minutes played, and Lionel Messi making the crucial intervention so far. There is Jorge Sampaoli, the Argentina coach. The talk they speak, I'm sure you've heard about all of the rumours and stories that have come out of the Argentina camp, that he is almost in charge in name only, and that the players are now running the show. That didn't seem to be the situation to the naked eye before the match here, where Sampaoli was very heavily involved out on the pitch actually, and speaking to so many of the players. Throw in on the halfway line, Moses to take it down the line, headed by Rojo back to the green of Nigeria, and Etebo swings a pass toward the halfway line, now to the left hand side to Idowu. Back to Omaro, who hits a high ball to Moses, who'll do well to keep it in. Indeed, it was out already before even he was challenged by Angel Di Maria. So Argentina with the 1-0 lead.
Well, you've got to think Argentina will tire. Mascherano and Banega, the players like this will come off the pace as the game goes on. But Nigeria have got up the tempo. They might have to change the shape maybe at half time, because they're not getting pressure in the right areas. And Argentina can just get out at any time, whether it be to the right, to the left. There's options for them all the time with the shape Nigeria's playing. It's easy for Argentina at times in possession.
This time Higuain won the ball back inside his own half. Argentina have worked it out to the right hand side. Messi is there, he has Mercado of Sevilla, but instead he goes infield to Mascherano, his old clubmate at Barcelona, and that's a brilliantly timed pass from Messi through to Higuain, who is he's challenged by goalkeeper Uzoho, who came out to narrow the angle and slide at his feet. He stabbed a shot goalwards, Higuain, but the young teenage goalkeeper made the save, and he's actually hurt himself, so referee Chakira stopped play.
Yeah, great ball by Messi, perfect way. Higuain does the right thing, he tries to lift it, he tries to dink it, he's stretching, and his knee just goes into the goalkeeper's face, so it'll be a little bit painful, but what a ball by Messi. So Higuain gets there first but can't lift it. He's just strayed, goes too big as he's reaching for it, and he collides with the keeper, who's not really moving a lot.
Yeah, he stayed down. Francis Uzoho. There was quite a question before the World Cup, we know, because we heard about it when we were covering the friendly match between England and Nigeria at Wembley before the tournament, that Gernot Rohr wasn't sure which goalkeeper he was going to go with, because remember Victor Enyama, who played for so many years for Nigeria, is now no longer on the scene, and he went with the 19-year-old who plays in Spain with Deportivo La Coruña. They were relegated this season. He only made his debut in October when he was 18 years old, but won his first cap against Argentina in November here in Russia, when they played a match, and actually Nigeria won 4-2. But Lionel Messi was not involved in that match, and he's made the difference so far tonight. Well, the youngster is okay, he's all in purple, he's received some treatment, they've checked on him, and play is back underway. 1-0 Argentina lead. This is BBC 5 Live at the World Cup here in St Petersburg, and a free kick after a foul on the far side, and Argentina play it back to Otamendi in central defence. Now Banega turns, lifts a pass onto the chest of Tagliafico back in the left back position, having been one of three central defenders in the Croatia game. Another change of system for Argentina here this evening, back from the three central defenders to the back four. Higuain loses possession, but the ball from centre midfield is overhit right through the middle, and goalkeeper Armani can pick it up easily.
Been disappointed, I've got to say, with Nigeria, a talented side, but whether the shape's affecting them, I don't know. They had joy with it in the last game, but it's definitely not working tonight. Argentina are just dominating the ball. They've got so many easy options. They just seem to be 10 yards off from Nigeria. They've got up the tempo or changed the shape or something.
Well, they do have Alex Iwobi on the bench, who scored 2 goals actually in that match against Argentina in November, but I can totally understand the coach Rohr sticking with the same team after their very good win against Iceland the other night. Nigeria 0, Argentina 1, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Argentina, 5 or 6 yards inside the Nigerian half. That's taken now by Tagliafico. Banega then plays it back into central defence. This quite old, experienced Argentina team, Chris, you were telling me, weren't you? You spotted the fact that only three of this starting lineup are in their 20s. The rest of them 30 or older, as Rojo had to be careful there against Iheanacho, but he was his former Manchester City clubmate, of course. Ball down the left-hand side, Di Maria plays it infield, Banega tried to nod it on, but indeed he is there to whack it into the centre circle, where the header is won there to great acclaim from the Argentina hordes by Otamendi. Messi, brilliant touch. It was an awkward ball to control that, took it down, played it. He is very much in the mood here this evening, and who can blame him, having scored the goal that has given Argentina the lead here, his first goal at this World Cup. He's now scored in 3 different World Cups. I remember seeing him score his very first one against Serbia and Montenegro, which was in Gelsenkirchen, in what was then one of the most futuristic stadiums around, the home of Schalke, when he came onto the field as an 18-year-old back in 2006. Now 31 years old, and the scorer of this match's only goal so far. Still 0-0 between Iceland and Croatia, so Croatia would be going through as group winners, Argentina in second, and Nigeria and Iceland would be heading out, and we would have last 16 matches of Croatia against Denmark and France against Argentina as things stand. Free kick after a foul near the halfway line on Mikel, who's okay. Nigeria take the free kick, but they lose possession, and it's played forward to Di Maria. Di Maria to the edge of the area, gets his ankles clipped and goes sprawling down just outside the penalty area. It's a yellow card for Leon Balogun, and it's a free kick to Argentina, left of centre, maybe a yard outside the box.
Oh, well, it's a great ball. It's a Banega again who just plays it through the gap. Great change of pace by Di Maria. Balogun chases him down, and he was lucky. He crosses his lane and he catches his heel. He didn't deliberately do it. He's got a yellow card for it. Di Maria is rolling around on the floor, but it's a free kick. It's a definite free kick, and I wonder who's going to take this.
Well, I think there's only one candidate, because he's got the ball in his hands. Banega has wandered forward. Di Maria is still down on the ground. And it was one of those, as Chris describes, Balogun running across the back of Di Maria, who'd got away from him. There was contact there in his stride, and Di Maria tripped himself after his back leg was caught by Balogun. So it's a free kick. Great position for Messi, this. Just left of centre, the angle's nice. Yeah,
left just off the D, and 5 yards to the left, probably 3-4 yards away from the 18-yard lane. I wonder if he'll reverse this. He's that clever. He'll look as if he's going to go over the wall, where the goalkeeper's standing to the left from the goalie's view. I think he could reverse it to actually where the goalkeeper is standing. He's that good.
But goals are important for Argentina, because just a win might not be enough if Iceland win against the much changed Croatia. So they all know this. Everyone in the stadium here will be aware of that. So opportunities like this need to be taken by Argentina. Banega standing to the left of the ball, Messi to the right. Here comes Messi, and he curls it, and it hits the post and bounces straight back out. He curled it across the wall, and it hit the face of the right post as he was looking at it, and bounced straight back out into the penalty area.
I said he's got good, he can reverse it. He didn't need to go over the wall. The big tall wall there, they jumped, and he's clever. He's went where the goalie stand. The goalie thinks he's going over the wall. He stands to his right, steps to his right, hits the post. Let off there for Nigeria.
Chris, we're incredibly fortunate, aren't we, to live and to watch football and do what we do in a time when we have Ronaldo and Messi. And we've seen Ronaldo in that game we watched down in Sochi, when he had that brilliant evening and scored those goals, and here now watching this little man do this.
Oh, genius. I mean, Ronaldo, fantastic. I mean, the records are just never ending. It's like every week they seem to break a record. And I didn't know vinyl was still around, but they're just absolutely brilliant to watch. I can watch Messi all day. He's such a talent, brilliant.
Yeah. Vinyl's back in fashion, Chris. Did you not know that?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know. What was that? Didn't even know it went out.
Went out, right. Yep. Remember that woman at Wembley this season who turned up with your 12-inch version of Diamond Lights?
She did. Classic.
She did.
With a free poster. Remember it well.
And actually, when we took the cable car over the Volga, when we were down in where were we? Nizhny Novgorod, and we ended up in a little Russian record store. We didn't recognise any of the artists though. Nigeria 0, Argentina 1, and a free kick for Argentina halfway inside his own half. So inside their own half. So Messi has scored here. He's also seen a free kick hit the post. Argentina on top, very much on top. But as I say, it could all change very quickly. And let's get another update from Arlo White and Stephen Warnock, who are watching pictures of the Iceland-Croatia match.
Still 0-0 here, John. The message, I think, must have got through to the Icelandic players. They're beginning to show a threat to flex their muscles from set pieces. Gylfi Sigurdsson has seen a free kick saved by Kalinic. Horder Magnusson has headed a corner wide. He had a flick on at the near post from a long throw, almost bundled in at the far post. And just briefly, Stephen, that appears to be Iceland's best route to goal. They need to score. Yeah,
it definitely does, and they've looked dangerous from them. It's definitely a route that they will have looked at before the game to cause Croatia problems, and they're looking dangerous at them.
There's been a goalmouth scramble a few moments ago as well, John, cleared by Croatia. It remains 0-0 in Rostov.
Free kick for Nigeria, which is taken towards the edge of the area, headed on but caught quite comfortably by goalkeeper Armani, who's not been tested at all. This admittedly experienced goalkeeper who is winning his first cap for Argentina here tonight. And let me just remind you as well, Nigeria 0, Argentina 1 is the score. So as it stands at the moment, Croatia going through as group winners, and Argentina would be going through as group runners-up. And the ball just rolling out of play. Tagliafico just shielding it from Iheanacho. Argentina take a throw back to Rojo, who clears from near the dead ball line. Higuain is beaten in the air, but it bounces through to Rojo, who rather ungainly style steps forward and heads it back. But Nigeria coming forward again. Victor Moses, one of the danger men, obviously, as we know well from the Premier League. Thought he was nudged over by Banega, but referee Czechia didn't give the free kick. Actually, while we were listening to Stephen Warnock and Arlo there, Javier Mascherano conceded a free kick near the halfway line and kicked the ball away. And I must say, I thought that the referee might well have shown him a yellow card for that, but he decided not to. The ball's out of play for a throw-in to Argentina. Actually, just to remind you what the criteria are and how the groups are decided, which I know a friend of mine was asking me today, so it's worth reminding everyone. Obviously, points, first of all, in all matches. Goal difference in all matches is then the second step. The third step is goals scored in all matches in the group. Then it goes to the head-to-head record between the sides. And remember, Argentina and Iceland drew 1-1 with each other when they played earlier in the section. Then it would be the fair play record. And Iceland have the edge there as well, which is the point I'm making with Mascherano, to not get a yellow card for that. You know, that's important potentially. And then after that, it would go to drawing of lots. And this would all come into play if Iceland are able to win and Argentina are able to win. And they are doing at the moment, with half-time just 6 or 7 minutes away. The man who's made the difference, Lionel Messi, the ball on the right-hand side. Messi manages to stab it in field. Higuain gets a little touch in there. Higuain gets it back. First time touch to Messi on his left foot in the D. Messi now to Di Maria, left side of the box. He shoots, it's blocked at source by Victor Moses. Back out of the penalty area to Banega. And Argentina start again as they play from right to left, as we look high up here on the dressing room side of the ground where the tunnel is, just slightly to the left of the halfway line. But it's a brilliant stadium, Chris, isn't it? For watching football, it's a little bit like the stadium in Cardiff, isn't it? It's steeply banked, 2 tiers all the way around.
Oh, it's a fantastic stadium, brilliant. Oh, they've all been good, let's be honest. And so far in this World Cup, we've been to a lot, and they've been excellent. But it's very easy here. Argentina enjoying it because they are absolutely dominating this football match. It's just been one-way traffic. They've dominated possession, most likely to add to their tally of 1 already. Nigeria have just not offered anything for me.
Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. Nigeria, who've previously reached the last 16 of the World Cup 3 times. Argentina, twice winners. Runners-up last time, remember, 4 years ago in Brazil. Long pass from centre field. This is for Iheanacho to chase, but he won't reach that. Bounces through into the hoardings. And Iheanacho turns and applauds Etebo for the intention. We've got 2 balls on the field at the moment. There's another Argentina anthem. Rings around the ground here. We've got flags from all corners of Argentina that are hanging from everywhere around the stadium with various messages. Lionel Messi's face is on so many of them. Such a hero for the country of Argentina. And he scored the goal that means they are in front here tonight. Here's Banega playing it infield towards Messi, who holds off the challengers that come in on him. And then Banega is able to put in a challenge as well. Etebo comes out with the ball though, and Etebo plays it towards Iheanacho. Iheanacho angles it back to Musa, looks as though it's got too much on it. Armani's come a long way out of his penalty area, but he manages to get there first ahead of Musa and sweep it behind for a corner.
Well, it'll give him a lot of confidence. He is a little bit nervous. I'm surprised that Nigeria haven't tested him more with set pieces and shots. They haven't. To be honest, you've got to get up the field to do that. But so far, it's all Argentina for me.
Set piece opportunities here. Kenneth Omaruo is making his way into the penalty area. Ekong as well. Referee Jakia
saying it's a throw in. It's a corner, isn't it?
Or is he saying the ball's not in the D? No, he's saying it's a
throw in.
Throw in.
They're not going to go to VAR for that, are they?
No, Chris, they can't. It's a throw-in, not a corner. Musa to take this. Here it is. 4 Argentines go for it, and they are able to head it away, but only out to a Tebo. It's a terrible shot that he has put out for a throw on the far side.
And not like you're saying that. Worst thing in the world is when you have a shot and it goes out or a throw-in, not a goal kick. And that he couldn't get any nearer, in fact, to the corner flag.
So it's a throw-in to Argentina. Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. Yet again in the morning, by the way, once you get up, you can download the 5 Live World Cup Daily podcast, which I believe is going down extremely well. If you listen to today's, Yaya Toure is on there. A big interview with Yaya Toure that I think Mark Chapman did. Rob Green is featuring on it as well. And tomorrow morning, I can tell you, as Argentina look to bring the ball forward, but it bounces off Higuain and then bounces off Di Maria for a throw-in to Nigeria near the halfway line. Tomorrow morning, first thing, Danny Rose, our England interview with Danny Rose will be on there, so that will be worth listening out for. Phil Neville's on the programme, Peter Odemwingie as well, and Tim Vickery, who are part of the show this evening on 5 Live Sports. So that is first thing tomorrow morning, and of course on 5 Live from 8:30 every weekday morning of this World Cup, Robbie Savage's 5 Live World Cup breakfast. Free kick to Argentina after Mascherano just taken a bang on the head.
Inacio, just a slight one. I think both of them want a little bit of a breather, especially Argentina. Slow the game down now. Last 2-3 minutes of the first half remaining.
And mention of Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast reminds me that if you were of a mind, you might say that Mascherano's given a bit of beef tonight. Really earned his corn, so that'll keep Robbie happy, and that'll keep Lancy Lad SJW happy. And if you're curious, listen to Robbie's World Cup breakfast on 5 Live tomorrow morning. Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. Are you on in the morning?
Don't mince your words. No, I'm not on.
You're not on in the morning?
No, I think it's that superstar Dennis, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Right. Ball out of play for a throw-in to Argentina, disputed. It's just not happened for them in the first half. I mean, they put so much into the win against Iceland. Gernot Rohr's gone with the same team, but I'd be pretty sure we'd see Alex Iwobi before long, once we get into the second half, the way that it's gone for them so far. But here's Idowu on the left-hand side, the St. Petersburg boy. Musa now on the edge of the box. He crosses, takes a deflection here, and Iheanacho's after it. Crikey, that was a high clearance from Rojo. Very high foot, and Iheanacho's gone down. Argentina can't get it away, and there's an element of panic in there. The ball's out of play on the far side. Iheanacho is still down. And I mean, the ball was up at, chest height, and Rojo got his leg very high to clear it, and as he did so, has caught Iheanacho.
I don't know how he cleared that. It looked a certain goal, and you've got to say Nigeria haven't really created anything. And it came into the box, and yes, Rojo's got a hold of him slightly, and his foot's so high, and he's ended up trying to head it into the goal, and he heads his foot as it's on its way down. It's that high, his foot, and it's his shin pad he heads, actually.
That's dangerous play.
It is, by
Rojo.
And he had a hold of him.
Right, we've got a stoppage. Just seen a shot of Diego Maradona on the far side. It looked as though he was asleep.
Well, the water's strong in the stadium, isn't it? So,
It's party town, St. Petersburg.
It's nearly half time.
Party town.
It's nearly half time.
Yeah.
I thought it's been quite a good game.
Right, Iheanacho's still receiving some treatment. Argentina are leading by 1-0. 45 minutes are up here. We're going to have 2 minutes of added time. Let's just get another update from Arlo White, who's watching pictures of the Iceland-Croatia game.
Yeah, it's all Iceland at the moment. John Bjarnason has just gone very close after pouncing off a rebound from a corner. They had a huge chance a few moments ago. Alfred Finnbogason, who scored the equaliser against Argentina. It was a lovely exchange of passes with Gylfi Sigurdsson on the edge of the area. His curling effort just wide of the left-hand post. If they do score, John, they'll go second in the live table on goal difference above Argentina, and they are the team out of these two most likely to do so at some point, but it's still 0-0.
So that's why, Chris, Argentina need to get a second goal here.
Well, I think they're managing the game well. They've had a good 35-40 minutes and they've just come off the pace, and Nigeria's obviously coming forward a lot more because they're letting them come forward. They're just waiting for half-time, regroup, and first 20 minutes I'm sure you'll see Argentina up the tempo again. But if I was Nigeria, I'd change the system. I think I'd go to a 4-5-1 or a 4-3-3, and I think they may get a bit more joy.
Yeah, they're playing with the three central defenders, Nigeria, but we remember, don't we, from Wembley, when Nigeria changed their system at half-time to a back three, and really started the second half very well. So now Argentina have to beware. That's Musa is fouled on the far side.
That's about Mercado. It's got to be a yellow card, which it's not. And he said wait for the whistle to take the free kick.
Certainly it was a strong challenge. We've just seen the one yellow card so far for Balogun of Nigeria. Free kick then from the far side, the Nigeria left. Argentina holding their defensive line, as is the trend. This must be 5 yards and a little bit more outside of the box. Referee Chakia is just speaking to William Ekong, and we're ready now for the delivery. Be quite a blow if Nigeria could get a goal back at this point, but it's headed away on the edge of the penalty area. Moses, Iheanacho, left-footed ball in, a little glance, header, but straight at goalkeeper Armani, who makes his first save of the first half, and it was an easy one as well, just the glancing header forward from Ekong's effort, and he was able to pick it up, and one or two of the Nigerian players just going to referee Chakia. But it is half-time here. Argentina, this must-win match for them. They are winning, courtesy of a very good goal from Lionel Messi. Chris Waddle. Yeah,
great goal by Messi. He had his best, and he's played very well first half, as have Argentina. Nigerian players are getting the group which they did in the last game in the centre circle, having a talk about the game, but they've got to improve, whether it's changing the system or the tempo, take more risks. They've got to improve. It's been all Argentina who controlled this football match, and obviously what a wonderful goal by Lionel Messi.
Yes, here in beautiful St. Petersburg we've seen a thing of beauty here this evening. Lionel Messi's first goal at this World Cup, and at half-time it is Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. And we'll take you back to Kelly Cates, who is in our studio just down from St Basil's Cathedral in Red Square.
Very geographically specific. Thank you very much for that, John. This is how Group D looks at half-time then. Croatia top with 7 points. That's enough for them to finish in top position. Argentina in second place with 4 points. Nigeria in third place with 3 points. Iceland at the bottom with 2 points. As things stand then, Argentina will be going through to the last 16. However, that could all change if Iceland were to score against Croatia, because with Argentina 1-0 up, if Iceland were to go 1-0 up, that would put them into second place on goal difference. Arlo White and Stephen Warnock have been watching that game between Iceland and Croatia in Rostov. Does it look as though Iceland could score in the second half, Arlo?
Absolutely does, Kelly. They have thrown everything at the Croatians in the last 20 minutes of that first half. I'm sure the message must have got out there that Lionel Messi and Argentina had scored to go a goal in front against Nigeria, because Croatia had dominated possession in the early part of the game. That's not unusual for a game against Iceland. They tend to cede possession to the opposition, but they really took the game to the Croatians in the final 20 minutes. Alfred Finnbogason, a terrific effort from the edge of the area after a nice little exchange with Gylfi Sigurdsson. That was a whisker wide of the post, and then just before half-time, Aaron Gunnarsson drew a great save from Kalinic in the Croatia goal. They've sprung to life, Stephen Warnock. They realise they need to score goals, and they actually do look dangerous here.
Yeah, they look very dangerous. The first 20 minutes was like a training game. It looked so easy for Croatia, and everyone was ambling around the pitch, and as Arlo says, it looks like the message has come on, and they've spun the ball down the sides, they've got set pieces, and they've looked to danger in this first half.
Well, Kelly, an Iceland goal here would certainly wake Diego Maradona up at the Argentina against Nigeria game. But it is 0-0, but you just get a sense there is a bit of excitement in this group yet before the full-time whistles blow.
Yeah, last we saw of Diego Maradona, Arlo, he was sort of coming round slightly. There's a small stoppage in play, just resting his eyes, I think, in the stadium in St. Petersburg. Argentina, though, leading Nigeria by 1-0. Tim Vickery joins us on the line now to talk Argentina and to talk Lionel Messi, who's joined the competition.
Yeah, and he's got a partner, hasn't he? He's got Banega. And once you give him a partner, then the moves start to flow. And we were seeing there Banega and Messi exchanging partners, with Di Maria stretching the pitch. They were beginning to get the left back Tagliafico forward. Maybe the only problem for Argentina in that half is that they've scored early, giving Nigeria plenty of time now to regroup, because Nigeria, as Chris Waddle was saying, they have to do something different now. There were two reasons going into this game that I was worried for Nigeria. One was a thing of game management. You know, if a draw is enough for a young side, how much does that influence their approach to the game? And the other was a back three, because I'm in the enormous insignificance of my opinion. I reckon that maybe the best way to stop Messi is two banks of four. If you put him up against a three, he will find a hole in that somewhere, and he has. So the ball now is in Nigeria's court. When these sides met in November in Russia, I know it's only a friendly and Messi didn't play. Argentina had the first half. They were more dominant than they've been just now. They were 2-0 up. The defence collapsed in the second half and Nigeria won 4-2. Nigeria, I'm sure, will be recalling that in the dressing room, and they've got to come out and do something different, and I think we're in for a very dramatic last 45 minutes.
This certainly could be. Tim, don't do down your opinion. That's what we've got you on for. It is very significant as far as we're concerned. Peter, what's your thoughts on Nigeria? Do you think they could have had a penalty?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. That's the grey area for me. That's, needs to be discussed, because who calls it? When the VAR is going to be used? I think the guys who saw it there, if the referee didn't get it, the guys who saw it on the screen, I think should so it
was a high foot by Rocco.
I think so. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
He was going for a head and his foot is already there. I think we have something to discuss there at the end of the game. But obviously now we're forced to attack. Now we need to take more risk, because the game plan was obviously to start slow it down, keep a clean sheet, because the young legs will be fresher in the second half, like we did in the friendly game, like Tim just said. So we will have more energy, but now we're forced to open up. I don't know if that will be a great idea, but after conceding one, it was important not to concede the second. So luckily the free kick from Messi hit the post and went out, because if we started early to look for an equalizer, maybe we could have been hurt. So it's good how we started. I'm very positive we can score one in this game, so just to make sure we don't concede anymore.
Yeah, because if Argentina don't score and Nigeria do get that goal, a draw really, unless there are plenty of goals elsewhere, would be enough for Nigeria to go through to that last 16. We'll have more from Peter, we'll hear more from Tim Vickery. We'll keep you up to date with Iceland against Croatia, and we will have second half commentary of Nigeria against Argentina. Lionel Messi is on the score sheet for Argentina. Alice said delighted for Messi. His relief was palpable. Armel says that Lionel Messi goal had shades of Gianfranco Zola versus England 1997 at Wembley. Beautiful finish. Baba and Dan talking about Nigeria. Baba says Ahmed Musa and Moses nowhere to be found, and no proper coordination in the Nigeria backline. Dan says Ndidi and Atebo are absolute athletes, seriously strong and quick, and can play a bit too, making Mascherano and Banega work for it. However, it was Banega's pass that put through Lionel Messi for the goal that separates those sides at half-time. Back for the second half after the BBC News with Rob Watts.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
A British man who made bombs for the Taliban has been found guilty of plotting a terrorist attack outside Parliament. Khalid Ali planned to target MPs and police and was arrested at Westminster while carrying 3 knives. Chris Phillips is a former head of the National Counter-Terrorism Security Office.
This man may well be responsible for hundreds of murders in Afghanistan. Hundreds. If he set off 300 bombs in Afghanistan, he's effectively a mass murderer. And he came back to the UK with the intention of doing something very similar in the UK. So we're much safer that he's now behind bars.
Uber's ban on operating in London has been overturned. Transport for London refused to renew the company's licence last year, saying it was not fit and proper. Its drivers will now be able to continue working for 15 months. Our correspondent, Rory Kethlin-Jones, is outside Westminster Magistrate Court.
Giving her ruling, the Chief Magistrate, Emma R. Butler, was pretty scathing in her description of the behaviour of the company. She said it had showed a gung-ho attitude, seemed to want to grow the business, come what may. It was obviously on a knife edge whether or not this licence would be granted. She did eventually say, yes, you can have a licence for 15 months.
A bus driver and passenger have died in a crash between a double-decker and a lorry in Cambridgeshire. The 2 men were in their 50s and 70s. 5 people were seriously injured in the collision on the A47. A couple have been sentenced to at least 30 years in prison each for murdering their nanny in South London. Sabrina Quider and Wissem Medouni had wrongly convinced themselves that Sophie Lyonnais was plotting to abuse people in their home with the help of former Boyzone singer Mark Walton. A major wholesaler has begun rationing beer, cider and some soft drinks because of the CO2 shortage. The gas is used to make them fizzy. Booker customers, including bars and restaurants, will only be allowed to buy up to 10 crates of beer at a time. And this year's record temperature has been broken again. 30.6 Celsius was measured in Porthmadog in North Wales, beating yesterday's high of 30.1.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
On the roads now, in Berkshire on the M4 eastbound, we've got 2 lanes closed and there's queuing traffic because of an accident between junction 4B with the M25 and junction 4, the Heathrow Spur. And in Cambridgeshire, the A14 westbound, there's queuing traffic because of an accident earlier on, an overturned vehicle between junction 24 for Godmanchester and 23 for the Spittals interchange. That had been closed, so it's just reopened, so it should start to get better, but still congested. Rob Watts, 5 Live Travel.
5 Live Sports.
The FIFA World Cup Russia.
Sterling back to Lingard, this is nice. Lingard with a curling shot, that's wonderful. There's the final whistle here in Nizhny Novgorod, and it's a record score for England at a World Cup finals. 6-1.
Next, England take on Belgium in their final game in Group G.
It has been the perfect start.
You never go into a competition trying to come second or third or fourth.
Live commentary Thursday night at 7 on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC iPlayer radio app.
5 Live Sport at the World Cup with Kelly Cates.
Hello, welcome back to our studio here in Red Square. We are following Nigeria against Argentina. Lionel Messi's goal has given Argentina the lead at half-time. It means that they would qualify in second place behind Croatia. We're also keeping an eye on their game against Iceland. At the moment, it's goalless in Rostov. However, 1 goal from Iceland, and they would be going through to the last 16 instead of Argentina if the score stays the same in St. Petersburg. Second half of both those games still to come, but away from Russia, Southampton have signed Celtic midfielder Stuart Armstrong on a 4-year deal, understood to be worth £7 million. World heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has been told by the WBA he could be stripped of his belt if he doesn't sign a deal to fight his mandatory challenger Alexander Povetkin with immediate effect. Eddie Jones will meet with RFU bosses this week to prove that he can turn England's form around before next year's World Cup. Johanna Konta cruised through to the second round at Eastbourne with a 6-1, 6-3 win over Alexandra Krunic. Meanwhile, Dan Evans has failed to reach Wimbledon after losing in the tournament's second qualifying round at Roehampton. Earlier in the World Cup, France and Denmark progressed into the last 16 after playing out the first goalless draw of the tournament, which was greeted by boos at the final whistle. The point, though, was good enough to see a much-changed French side top Group C. French journalist Julien Laurent, though, was less than impressed.
I promise you, in the dressing room right now, even if Deschamps is happy by the point and the finish top spot in the group, some of the players won't be happy at all by what happened. Like you mentioned Olivier Giroud. He won't be happy by the game today. Griezmann was taken off again in this game. The last time he played 90 minutes for France was back in October. You have to question also the attitude of the guys who came in. Because as we said before, that was a big game for Lemar, it was a big game for Sidibé, and Zonzi, Kimpembe. Kimpembe was probably the best of the worst, but the others, I mean, come on. Dembele was shocking, Lemar was shocking, Sidibé was shocking. And it's not good for them, it's not good for the French team either, because that takes away the competition. Because now everybody knows the team that Deschamps is going to put for the last 16 and probably for the quarters if they go through and etc. Because there's no competition in this team, because the guys who came in today was just not good enough.
That was Julien Laurent speaking after France's 0-0 draw against Denmark. Unarguably the worst game of the World Cup so far. And France, in the round of 16, will play the team that finishes second in Group D. Those teams, of course, are in action this evening. And as it stands, Chris Waddle, it'll be Argentina. But on that performance, would Argentina have anything to worry about if they face France?
No, I think yeah, they haven't played well, and I understand everybody go mad and moaning and the French whistling. They're not playing with fluidity, they're not playing with the quality they've got on that squad. When you watch them playing for Paris and you watch them playing for their other teams, Griezmann, they don't seem to have that. They don't seem to link up. I don't have a good combination. Whatever it is, it's something not right. They've come into the tournament, they've not performed, they've scraped, they've got two won 2 wins and a draw. They've got through, they've won the group, and they should be on a high. And everybody seems to play, doesn't seem to perform. He's changed it, he doesn't know the right system, he doesn't really know what is his best 11. And taking off people like Griezmann, it frustrates the fans. So, I mean, they've got through, and they're going to say, well, look, object was getting out the group, now we can hopefully start playing. But I just don't see any rhythm. I don't know if you can get the balance straight. They've got the most talented squad, I would say, Kelly, out the whole lot. When you actually go through the 23, they've got probably the best squad, but he just can't seem to get the right balance and shape to the team.
Just very quickly on the game between Nigeria and Argentina, I wanted to get your thoughts on what Peter Odemwingie thought was a penalty, Rocco, on Iheanacho. What did you think?
Yeah, well, it's a dangerous play, and at the end of the day, if it was outside the box, he would have got a free kick. Maybe because it was inside the box, the referee thought no. But yes, and if you go by the rules, then he had a very good case.
Chris Waddle will bring us commentary of the second half of Nigeria against Argentina, but everybody's getting in touch about Lionel Messi. He's finally scored in this World Cup. Matt says Messi looks on form tonight. Finally, still can't understand how Mascherano's on the field, though he's been awful at the back so far. Tim Vickery is on the line. Have Argentina looked all right defensively? Does Mascherano look as bad as Matt's saying?
Well, he's not the player that he was. I mean, for years now, Argentina's defence has been held together by a combination of duct tape and Javier Mascherano. And part of their problem now is he's not quite what he was, and he is a little bit more error-prone, but he's really got the bit between his teeth tonight. Whether he can keep it up for the full 90 minutes... there's some ageing limbs playing their third game in a row for this Argentina side. Let's see if Nigeria can take advantage.
Can Nigeria take advantage? Peter Odemwingie. Max says Argentina quicker, stronger, more positive and hungrier than Nigeria. Do they even know what they're playing for? Will we see more of the attitude that Mac wants in the second half?
Yeah, but it was only natural for us to start slow and patient, to keep a clean sheet in the first half, because we only need a point to go through. So now we're forced. I think we will see a different Nigeria. Odion Ighalo is coming in now. He can play, can hold on to the ball really well around the 18, and we have players who can shoot. So we have to go for it now. Will be a more interesting game for us. I think the first half was more or less the same for both sides. Just the brilliance of Messi made a difference. Not many will make the most out of a ball like that. The fantastic control, puts it down and finishes with his weaker foot. So that's why we could not predict this score really of this game, because if he's on it, he's on it. So but I'm positive, we will be fresh in the second half in terms of energy. We will go for it now. We can also be hurt by counter-attack, but first of all, now we're going to go for it, and if we score, I think then it will be a difficult game for Argentina.
Well, Lionel Messi has just addressed the Argentina team in the tunnel before leading them out onto the pitch for the second half of this game, with the score at Argentina 1, Nigeria 0. We can rejoin our commentary team in St. Petersburg, Chris Waddle and John Murray.
Yes, and when we looked down on them, Kelly, and saw them for the first time coming out for the second half, there was quite a buzz around the stadium from all of these thousands and thousands of Argentina fans who are inside the stadium, to our left, to our right, down in front of us, all around the ground. Argentina getting the second half underway here, leading by that Lionel Messi goal. And there has been a change for Nigeria, and that is that Odion Ighalo has come on to replace Kelechi Iheanacho. So Ighalo coming on to win his 22nd cap. Of course, you'll remember him from Watford, but now playing in China with Changchun Yatai. And he is the change that has been made by Gernot Rohr. So Nigeria 0, Argentina 1. And with the change, Nigeria, this is their team. Uzoho in goal, back four of Balogun, Ikong and Omaruo. Moses and Didowu are the wing-backs, and Didi, Etebo and Mikel in midfield, and now Musa and substitute Ighalo up front. And the Argentina side this evening, Armani winning his first cap in goal, back four of Mercado, Otamendi, Rojo and Tagliafico. In midfield, Banega and Mascherano centrally, Perez on the right, Di Maria on the left, and Messi wherever he wants really, behind Higuain. And Argentina in the blue and white striped shirts, black shorts and white socks, have the ball 15 yards inside Nigeria territory. Mercado plays it towards Higuain, who turns it round through between two of the central defenders, but can't reach it, and it bounces through to goalkeeper Uzoho. So they've made the change, Nigeria. Chris?
Yeah, still the same shape. Yeah, I know Ighalo can hold the ball up a lot better probably than Iheanacho. Would give it away a lot. Yes, he's got good pace, but not really contributed enough.
And it is Nigeria who are coming forward on the right-hand side. And actually, Igalo is fouled by Rojo near the halfway line, and it's a free kick to Nigeria.
Well, they have got to go for it. Listen, they're going home at the minute, so they have got to up the tempo, start asking questions, take in the odd risk, and see where it leads them.
Still spectators coming back to their seats. Over on the far side, quite a number of actually empty dark blue seats on the opposite side, but it's just about full for this spectacle. Free kick then, played into the edge of the penalty area. Ekong was up from the back, but it got a touch from an Argentina head out towards the left-hand side here, the Nigeria left, and it's a throw-in. Just forward, a little further on, then level with the edge of the penalty area. Musa is going to take this. Ahmed Musa, the scorer of Nigeria's only 2 goals so far at this World Cup. Here's the throw into the near post. 3 Argentine players went for the same ball. Mascherano actually headed it in the end behind.
Well, you've got to put a name on it, and obviously people like Mascherano, very experienced players, they haven't put a name on it. They've all challenged for the same ball. No, this is a corner to Nigeria.
It's a corner. There was not a Nigeria player there. Just 3 Argentine players challenging for it. So it's a corner. Chance here for Nigeria. If Nigeria score, then we'd be all square in both matches, and it would be as you were in the table. Here's the corner. Oh, there was a player hauled down at the near post. It's a penalty. Mascherano's conceded a penalty. He's furious about it. He's been yellow carded by Sunit Chakir, the referee, but the referee spotted it, and it is a penalty for Nigeria and a chance to make it 1-1, Chris.
Well, we didn't see it. We just saw the guy hit the dirt of the ground, didn't we? We didn't see what happened from where we're sitting really high up. As the corner comes in, and the referees give it. Has he gone VAR? Has he just made his mind up? And that's it. They're looking at it.
Well, it is being consulted. Yep. The video assistant referee is being consulted. We can see that on our screen.
Yeah. Well,
and Mascherano had his arms around Balogun, and I mean Balogun went down.
Yeah, it's a pen.
And to me, that looks a penalty. He's got his arms around him. We know from watching the England game the other day that they are now looking to clamp down on this. The check is over. We can see on the screen. And it is a penalty confirmation. Argentina are not happy about this, but if this goal is scored, this penalty is scored by Victor Moses of Chelsea, then the game will be back level. Now there's a bit of trouble on the edge of the area. The referees had to run in between 3 Nigeria players and 3 Argentina players and calm it all down. So we won't see Victor Moses taking it just yet, because
it's Igalo who's standing on really right at the edge of the D where you can't get any nearer to it. An Argentina player wants to stand here, so they're pushing each other for that little bit of space. We're talking about 7-8 inches.
And Sunit Chakir is now trying to pull back Odion Igalo. And Victor Moses has a long time to think about this. I mean, this is crucial. This goal, this penalty here, if he scores it, could potentially get Nigeria through to the last 16 of the World Cup. Victor Moses is ready. Still, the referee is shepherding Argentina players out of the penalty area. So, with a chorus of whistles all around this stadium, Victor Moses with his right foot, very cleverly, sends goalkeeper Armani the wrong way, turns a somersault, and goes to that little knot of Nigeria fans down to our left to celebrate with them, because it's now Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. Both matches in this Group D are level, and it would be Croatia and Nigeria going through and Iceland and Argentina going out.
I've got to say, what a pen. Under pressure, long wait. He walks up, waits the goalie down to his right, just rolls it to the keeper's left. Wonderful pen by Moses. Great start by Nigeria.
So Nigeria equalise with that Victor Moses penalty in the 51st minute. It's Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. And now Argentina, and also in the game in Rostov, Iceland have to respond. Arlo White's watching the Iceland-Croatia match.
Yeah, a draw with you, John, and Iceland would need to beat Croatia by 2 clear goals, whilst also scoring 1 more than Nigeria. So if it stays 1-1 with you, they would need to win here by 2 goals to nil, but they've fallen behind. Would you believe it? Croatia take the lead in the 53rd minute. Milan Bardel, who just smacked the crossbar from 25 yards out, has now converted right-footed into the roof of the net. It looks like, as it stands, Croatia will win the group with 3 wins out of 3, plenty of football to be played, but Iceland now have a massive hill to climb. They need to score 3.
So it would still, that doesn't change the situation. Croatia would be going through as the clear group winners. Nigeria would be going through as runners-up. Iceland and Argentina would be going out. Here, while you were listening to Arlo, big penalty appeal from Argentina, from Angel Di Maria, who burst into the box on the left-hand side against Victor Moses, but threw himself to the ground. And referee Czechia rightly did not give that as a penalty for Argentina, Chris Waddle.
Rightly so. Di Maria, yet again, he should be yellow carded though.
Nigeria have started the second half strongly. Here's Igalo, who goes past Otamendi, still going. A sliding challenge from Banega to take the ball away from Igalo and concede a corner.
This is what I expected Nigeria to do. Yes, they went a goal down and they've come out second half and they really are up the tempo. And there's a lot of Argentinian players who feel the pace. They put a lot of work in that first half, and now they're feeling the pace. And Nigeria got a bit between the teeth. They really up the tempo, and Argentina are finding it hard to live with them at the minute.
Nigeria 1, Argentina 1, with the scores as they are. And as we heard from Arlo there, Croatia winning 1-0 against Iceland. Iceland and Argentina going out. But here's the corner in towards the near post, which is cleared away by Higuain, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in to Nigeria that is rescued by Di Maria. He wasn't booked for a dive,
John. Balogun went down again. Rojo ran across as he was lying on the floor. He died when he fell over this time, and he had a right go at him, Rojo.
Musa gets away on the left-hand side. Nigeria coming forward again. Musa's cross, though, is easily steered and cleared away in the central area, and it eventually bounces out of play back for a goal kick to Argentina. So 1-1 here and 1-0 to Croatia in the match in Rostov.
Well, it's the middle of the park where Argentina are finding it hard. Mascherano, we know, is not any younger. Panega's got it great on the ball, but can't really cover the ground and put people under pressure. And Nigeria have come up the blocks very quick.
But with Iceland losing as they are, Argentina, that for Argentina, that's a good result. If they can get themselves back in front, then Argentina would return in the table as it stands to second place. And now we're seeing Igalo on the ground, having been challenged. He has been fouled. It is a free kick to Nigeria. The referee just very calmly indicates with his hands that everyone needs to calm down a little bit here. It was an aerial challenge by Tagliafico, who landed on Igalo, who's gone down holding the back of his head. He's rolling now on his back. He's pointing at his chest. He's holding his head.
He's saying the referee's elbowed, as we just saw the replay from 3 different angles. Look, he's up talking to him now. If he'd been elbowed, mate, you wouldn't get up.
It's a free kick to Nigeria. If you've not been elbowed, there's no way that VAR is going to suggest that you have been. But Nigeria now know in this position that this is getting them through. Free kick then, it's played into the edge of the area, a header goalwards by Ndidi. The referee spotted a foul by Ndidi, and it's a free kick to Argentina on the edge of their own box.
They can't get out. They can't get out, Argentina. They can't get the magician Messi on the ball because they can't get a hold of the ball. Nigeria are really working hard, closing them down, and Messi at the minute is spectator.
BBC 5 Live, Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. We're here in St. Petersburg and we're watching Argentina bring the ball forward near the halfway line. Argentina going out with the scorelines as they are. Here is Mascherano now, lifting a ball out towards the left-hand side. Tagliafico was beaten in the air by Moses, who used his arm. So it's a free kick to Argentina halfway inside the Nigeria half. Even though we've only played 10 minutes of the second half, there is a real urgency about Argentina. They know that this is a serious situation. 1-1 here, and Messi with a free kick, just runs his fingers through his hair. Out towards the left-hand side, looking to deliver it in with his left foot. Higuain waits just outside the penalty area. And the referee indicates that Messi should play this in now, which he does. Headed away though on the edge of the box by Etebo. Nodded back over the top to the edge of the Nigerian penalty area. It's headed away. Now out on the left-hand side, Tagliafico will Banega will take it on. Banega's cross, looking for Higuain, but that's again headed away for Nigeria. The ball hanging on the edge of the penalty area where Nigeria are able to clear up to Musa, who overhead kicks it downfield and gives possession back to Argentina.
Well, a little bit of a scare, couple of decent deliveries, asked questions anyway, but Argentina now trying to get back in their stride, which they had first off, but Nigeria working ever so hard. And was that a foul?
Foul on Perez, yeah. He was caught there by Mikel, and Argentina with a free kick. Mikel's actually got a broken bone in his hand. He's broken a metacarpal, but was cleared to play with a dark green cast on his lower left arm, the former Chelsea man, the captain of this Nigerian team. Messi now is being tugged at and pulled at, and it's a free kick on the right-hand side for Argentina, which is taken quickly. The crowd don't like Messi being interfered with. Messi gets the ball back, walking pace, his blue and white shirt outside his shorts, and he's given it away. But Igalo, it bounced off him, and Argentina have got possession back. If Nigeria concede a goal, if Argentina can get themselves in front, then it would all change, and it would be Argentina who would be going through and Nigeria who would be going out. Ball with Argentina and Mascherano. Mascherano, who conceded the penalty. And it was the right decision. His arms were,
it's good.
His arms were around Balogun.
You learn. If you don't learn, then...
I mean, you can't complain about it because you're fouling your man. I don't know what the issue is. You know, you are going to be picked up by the video assistant referee. In fact, the referee spotted it. Oh, poor touch by Rojo. Out of play, concedes the throw in near the halfway line. Musa takes it down the left-hand side. Musa now into the full-back position. Musa takes on and beats Mascherano, and Musa pulls it back, but he pulled it back straight into Otamendi, and Argentina were able to clear. Here's Mikel in possession for Nigeria. They are much more of a threat in the second half, Nigeria. They have upped their game, and this Argentina side, they're in a battle here. That's a poor touch, though, to slice it out of play for a throw-in. Great by a table.
Great bit of skill by Musa down the left. Goes past Mascherano twice. Unfortunately, the pullback gets cut out. But as you say, John, they've upped the tempo, Nigeria. They are really now asking questions.
We'll get another update on the Iceland-Croatia match in just a moment. But Argentina coming forward. Here's Higuain on the left-hand side. Higuain on his left foot has support behind him. Di Maria's near the penalty spot as Banega slips over. And looks down at the pitch surface. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Now Messi in a central area. 3 Nigerian players around him. Mascherano pulls the ball out towards the left-hand side. Tagliafico is available on the left-hand side. He has Di Maria, and he also has Banega out there. Back in field it comes towards Mascherano. And now with the Argentine beat drumming around the ground, an overhit pass by Otamendi bounces through for a goal kick, and all of that Argentine possession comes to absolutely nothing, and we're going to see Christian Pavón, who is something of a hero for the Argentina supporters who have come all the way from South America, playing his football as he does for Boca Juniors, and there are many, many Boca Junior supporters here. We've seen them all over St. Petersburg, and that is the move that is being made with half an hour to play. Pavón coming onto the field to replace Perez, Enzo Perez. Right, let's get an update then, as I said, from Arlo White, who's watching Iceland-Croatia.
Iceland 0, Croatia 1, John. Iceland centre-back Sverrir Ingason had a header tipped over the bar by Kalinac from the resulting corner. He smacked the crossbar with another header. Milan Bardel with the only goal so far. A sumptuous right-footed finish into the net. As it stands, John, Iceland somehow need 3 without reply to go above Nigeria and finish second.
Yep, Nigeria currently going through with group winners Croatia. 1-1 here. Nigeria coming forward. Etebo plays it through to Musa, and Musa is well and truly buffeted by Rojo. Now the ball is swung towards the edge of the penalty area where Argentina are able to clear it, and Higuain swings it to the right-hand side, and now Pavón is off down the right, and Pavón's low ball into the middle is deflected over the top of his own bar by William Ikong for an Argentine corner. That's what the Argentine fans wanted to see from Christian Pavón.
Yeah, Amaro was chasing him. Great pace by Pavón, wasn't it? A little bit more on the ball, I would ask the question a bit more, but he just scuffed it slightly as he crossed it, and it's a corner, short one taken to Messi.
Messi takes it to Banega. Now back in field. Oh, and that's overhit by Di Maria through the inside right position, straight through for a goal kick. What a waste.
He was unlucky because Messi looked like he was going to change pace, didn't he? He started to sprint slightly, then pulled up and he wanted to defeat, and unfortunately by then Di Maria's head had dropped, looked at the ball and released the pass too late. Goes out for a goal kick.
That's Chris Waddle, 62 caps for England, played at 2 World Cups. We're in the last half hour. We're watching Nigeria 1, Argentina 1 on BBC 5 Live. And tomorrow, Chris, we'll be off to Kaliningrad, another new venue for us.
Oh yeah, we're travelling here, by the way. We're travelling. Really is fog.
Yes, you've got nothing on us. And we will bring you all the build-up on Thursday night it is, when England play Belgium. We'll be there to hear Gareth Southgate speak tomorrow in the stadium as well. But all the build-up and the commentary on 5 Live on the England-Belgium game, when we will find out whether England or Belgium will win the group, and we'll know who the opponents will be in the last 16. Already today, Denmark have gone through with France to the last 16. Tomorrow, the groups involving Germany and Brazil will be sorted out. Commentary on both of those. But here, Argentina in danger of going out, the 2 times winners of the World Cup. They have to score and win this match. If they do, they'll go through as runners-up, with Iceland losing against Croatia. Argentina with the ball on the halfway line. The easy thing to do, the easy thing to suggest would be give it to Messi, and that's what they've just done here. And Messi is fouled, takes a quick free kick. Referee Chakir allows them to do that. Banega now to the left-hand side. Di Maria is there. Back it comes into a central area. Tagliafico's involved. Rojo to the left-hand side. Banega once again on his right foot, halfway inside this Nigeria territory. Mascherano, the shaven-headed 34-year-old as he is now. Mascherano, the former Liverpool and West Ham man, and Barcelona famously. Pavon nutmegs his man. Pavon to the edge of the area, then runs into the second challenge, and Nigeria win the ball back. And then with a touch and a slip, crucially, Etebo loses possession.
If he touches that, the defender commits himself, he's clear.
Argentina, as Banega slides into the challenge. He'd actually lost it.
It's got to be yellow.
He'd overrun it, and then he slid in and committed the foul, and it's a yellow card for Banega.
Well, it was. He was late. He's not known for his challenge, his tackles. He's a good passer of the ball, but he's not renowned for his... he's left his feet, and it's a bit late in did he? Rightly so. Referee gets that right. Yellow card.
Yeah, Banega, who you'll remember from Valencia and Inter as well, but now at Sevilla, he is yellow carded. Free kick for Nigeria, which is swung away to the far side and headed back to Ndidi. And now to the edge of the penalty area, where Igalo is claiming that he should have won a free kick on the corner of the penalty area.
And he's actually arguing with the referee with his arms going in the air. And the referee's obviously said something back to him, but pushing your luck.
Armani, the goalkeeper, long ball into the centre circle. Higuain loses out to Ecom. Now Mascherano is able to, with the aid of Messi, keep possession for Argentina. It's flicked forward to Di Maria, whose touch is rather heavy, and it's out of play for a throw.
He's having a bad game today, Di Maria, and he's dived about 3 times, which doesn't help his cause. But he's not playing. I would be surprised if there'll be a change soon for Di Maria. I'd put Dybala on if I was Argentina.
Well, referee coach Sampaoli, I can just see the top of his shaven head glinting under the floodlights. Messi, he has turned to the bench there. Pavon now on the right-hand side. Pavon takes a touch but then crosses it far too close to goalkeeper Uzoho, who's able to easily pat it down.
He's looked bright though, Pavon, since he come on. I think a lot of energy down his right-hand side, and he's put a couple of balls just haven't happened for him. He's got great areas.
He's obviously a big favourite back in Buenos Aires, because even in our hotel where we're staying, I saw a number of young Argentina fans with his name on the back of their shirts. Pavon. Argentina played up towards Higuain, who drops to the halfway line, then turns. Higuain, we know only too well how dangerous he can be from the Champions League this season, when suddenly Higuain and Dybala combined to win that game at Wembley and knock Tottenham out of the competition this season. Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. Here in the World Cup, it's Argentina who are going out with Iceland with the scores as they are. He has Messi on the right-hand side. Messi runs it down into the full-back position. He has 2 defenders on him. He gives it to Pavon. Pavon now square towards Mascherano. Mascherano finds Ndidi in front of him, cuts back onto his right foot, angles a pass to Pavon, now to Messi on the right hand side. Pavon back to Messi. Messi loses possession.
I'll tell you what, they've done well, John, second half. They've got round Messi quicker than they did first half, and there's not just one, there's two or three. They're really getting his head down, can't get his head up to see.
Time's beginning to run out for this Argentina team. Pavon again, but also you just sort of feel that Nigeria may be dropping further and further back. I think we can see that Mascherano has got blood on his face, on the left side of his face.
I think it's his left eye.
Argentina still in possession, but then it's headed away by Balogun, and now on the halfway line, a free kick goes against Nigeria. They certainly feel they're not getting the rub of the decisions, Nigeria. You can tell that from their body language out there. And yeah, clearly there is quite a lot of blood now on the left side of Mascherano's face. We can see that on our little screen in front of us here, even though it's not obvious to the naked eye. That sort of thing normally has to be sorted out and cleaned up. Messi back towards Mercado. Now Mascherano lifts a ball over the top down the right-hand side, looking for the substitute Pavon, who takes it into the penalty area, and then it's swept behind by Omarua, the central defender. Corner Argentina.
I can agree with you a little bit there, John. I don't think Nigeria's getting the fair share of the decisions now.
Corner taken quickly by Pavon, gives it to Messi. The two of them have combined promisingly, but Messi has given the ball away again, and he's done that a number of times now in the second half. And Musa is running it towards the halfway line where he's dispossessed by Mercado.
He's just got to kick it and run. He's got good pace, and even if they retrieve it off him, they're well up the park. It gives his defence a little bit of a breather, because the last 5 minutes being all Argentina.
So it remains Nigeria 1, Argentina 1, and we are now into the last quarter of the match. Argentina must score and win this game to stay in the competition. This time they can't find Pavon with Banega's pass from near the centre circle. There is a touch of desperation already about this Argentine performance. Now Tagliafico, now Di Maria gets involved on the far side and wins a throw-in off Victor Moses. Takes it himself, just lacking a little bit of composure. You know, some of the other major teams that we've seen, Germany for example, still have that composure in this sort of position.
Yeah, don't panic, do they? They keep playing their way.
And Argentina in possession, but forced to concede possession. Di Maria again loses it and concedes a throw. And I think Sampaoli might be about to make the change. And is that Dybala he's calling for? I think it is.
It's got to be.
I think it is. And just keep an eye on them down in front of the dugout while the throw-in is taken on the far side for Nigeria, and they concede another throw. So we are going to see another change. I think it is Dybala. I can only see the top of his head.
It is.
Good. Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. 20 minutes to play. It is still Iceland 0, Croatia 1. So Croatia, as we expected, winning the group. They've been one of the most impressive teams so far at this World Cup. And Higuain winning the ball back for Argentina, who are going out unless they can score. Mascherano, forward and right of the centre circle, turns and plays it back to the right. Everything looking to Pavon at the moment. But Pavon's ball in field to Higuain is cut out by Etebo, but then Etebo is challenged by Mascherano. Higuain's cross is blocked, then it's hoisted straight up into the air. Then Ndidi is challenged by Mascherano, and the ball bounces down for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who will certainly be feeling super if they can knock out Argentina this evening. Now the ball on the left-hand side with Musa. Nutmegs Mercado. Musa plays it infield to Igalo. He allows it to run to Ndidi. Ndidi shoots over the top of the Argentine crossbar.
Great football. Musa, when he gets turned, he's got a lot of ability, hasn't he? Nutmegs there in Pavon and squares it. Great little over. And then the shot really, he's just got to hit the target at least. Just flies over the crossbar. Great bit of play.
No, it's not. It's not Dybala who is coming on. It's Maximiliano Meza of Independiente, who has started the first couple of games, and he has sprinted onto the field for Argentina to replace Di Maria. So we got half of it right.
Well,
it had to be Di Maria, didn't it?
Oh, it had to be.
And now, immediately, Argentina coming down the left-hand side. Moses, though, times his challenge very, very well to put that in on Tagliafico, who then, I think, fouls Moses. Referee Czechia doesn't give it as a foul, and it's cleared away downfield.
The only thing you start thinking about Nigeria, young side, we know that they're just starting to drop off a little bit. They need from the front to press the ball a little bit higher. They're dropping in their own half and they're getting deeper and deeper, and they're inviting balls in the box.
So Argentina 1-1, and now ball played through for Messi through the inside left position, takes it to the byline. Messi with a brilliant touch, then crosses it towards the back post where Nigeria couldn't keep it in. It was touched back by Idowu to his goalkeeper Uzohu, who dived along the dead ball line, but it was over the line. It's a corner to Argentina, corner from the right hand side. Pavon to take this. Here it is to the near post, where it is easily headed away for Nigeria, who are getting closer and closer to effectively knocking out Argentina. And what a lovely piece of revenge that would be for all of these World Cup defeats over the years. And disappointingly,
Mesa.
It's run out of play by Mesa, who's just come onto the field, and it's a goal kick to Nigeria.
No, obviously the crowd's getting very frustrated. Time starting, look, as you say, the clock's ticking down, 73 minutes gone, and you've got to say Nigeria have played very well second half. They've dealt with Messi, they've dealt with Higuain, everything what's come at them they've done very, very well, and they've caused problems on the counter-attack, but they've just got to try and play a little bit higher, try and get the ball back a little bit high up the field.
Just under 20 minutes to play. Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. Argentina, much the better team in the first half, scored an excellent goal. Do try and see it. I think this game is on BBC television. Guy Mowbray and Jermaine Genius just over to our right. Wonderful goal by Messi, but came out slowly at the start of the second half, and Mascherano gave away one of those penalties with his arms all around Balogun inside the penalty area. The referee gave it. It was backed up by VAR. It was the right decision. It's the sort of decision that we want to see at this World Cup, because we want to see that sort of thing being cut out. And Argentina currently are going out. Ball on the halfway line, and a free kick. Igalo. Argentina's with.
Igalo for that one. He's not wouldn't let it release, and
another little foul by Igalo. Here's Messi on the right hand side. Messi playing it through the inside right position. Pavon is onto this. Nigeria should clear this, but Pavon has won it back inside the box. I'm hearing there's a penalty in the other match, but Mercado crossing behind, deflected corner, straight to Ola White.
Gylfi Sigurdsson, John, has made amends for his miss against Nigeria with 10 minutes to go. He has just won and then converted a penalty kick. It was all Merseyside affair. It was Sigurdsson's cross into the box, and Dejan Lovren, who's on the field as a substitute, he stuck out a left arm. It went to VAR after the initial decision was penalty. It was upheld. Sigurdsson high into the roof of the net, down the middle. It's Iceland 1, Croatia 1. They need at least 2 more.
Yes, and it is 1-1 in both matches, so it's as you were in the group. And Musa on the breakaway for Nigeria. It's not been cleared. Igalo with a chance. Oh, he's hit it wide. What an opportunity to put Nigeria through into the last 16.
Well, what are they arguing about here? What are they arguing about? Is there a handball?
Are they claiming there's a handball? Mikel has run to referee Czechia. Igalo is pointing into the air. I presume he's saying that should be, and now we can see there is a VAR check going on. A possible handball.
Cross by, I wonder if it's Rojo who handles it.
Rojo, I think, was the player that they're pointing at. It was rather awkward as the cross came over. Rojo, he catches it with his head and it deflects onto his arm, so his arm is out at a right angle from his body. It's hit his head and landed on his arm inside the box. Then it fell to Igalo, who shot wide from 12 yards.
No, not for me. He's unlucky. He's headed it. He's tried to head it. It's come off his head. It's
the players are following the referee. He is going to have a look at it. We've seen the rectangle in the air from referee Czechia, who's now running over to this side of the field, to the area where the television screen is.
Massive decision, this. Really huge. Argentina, this is a pen, they're finished.
He's watching the screen. He's down in the tunnel area.
It's handball, but it wasn't.
He's having another look at it. He's talking to his colleagues. He's talking to his colleagues, and I think he is saying
good decision.
It's not a penalty. That's a good decision.
That is good decision. He's a good referee.
Yeah. He's checked that. They've wanted him to have a look at it. You know, I think he's seen that, the referee. He's decided it wasn't a handball, but they've said, come and have a look at it just to make sure you're absolutely happy. And he has stuck with his original decision, and I think that's the right way to do it.
Totally agree with you, John. He's got it right.
Nigeria 1, Argentina 1 then remains the score. It is Iceland 1, Croatia 1 in that match in Rostov. So Croatia going through as group winners, Nigeria as runners-up, Iceland and Argentina are going out. And we have less than 15 minutes to play. Argentina, if they can get in front and stay in front and the other score stays the same, Argentina would go through and Nigeria would go out. Tense moments, great moments these at a World Cup, Chris.
Yeah, this is what it's all about.
When you get to the final group games and they're both being played at the same time, and it naturally provides drama such as this. Goals in both matches could make it all look very different.
This will be talked about for, if the result stands, Argentina will still moan about whatever, but Nigeria said we should have won the game anyway because that's a clear pen. It's not. It's accidental. He's tried to head it. It's come out of his hand. Can't help it.
What should have happened is that Igalo should have scored. Well, he almost had a free hit at goal and he pulled it wide. So you talk about errors, you talk about officiating errors, but sometimes you also have to talk about errors that are made by players. Nigeria 1, Argentina 1. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We're going out across Africa as well on the BBC Africa section of the World Service, going out in Canada as well, as many of our commentaries are. And here, Argentina in possession with substitute Mesa. Gives it away.
And Aguero's coming on. There's a foul.
And then
dive, well, book him.
Atebo goes down, no free kick. Messi takes it up. Messi is very, very tight around there, gives it to the left-hand side. Now the cross into the penalty area. Pavon got a touch, but it was behind him, and he could only deflect it away out of the penalty area. Yep, Sergio Aguero is going to come on, and that will be the final change, so there'll be no Dybala. And now, again, Argentina with Mascherano. Ball centrally for Argentina, and Messi now on the edge of the box trying to work a way through. Banega plays it to the left hand side. It's drilled right across the penalty area by Tagliafico. No one got a touch, and it's deflected out of play for a throw-in in the full-back position.
By the way, that was a shot. It wasn't a cross.
No, you're right.
Here comes the last.
It was a
throw of the dice.
Hit shot. So the last throw of the dice for Argentina and for the under fire, under pressure Jorge Sampaoli is to take off the left back Tagliafico and to bring on a man who, as we know, is well versed in scoring the odd late goal or two of great meaning. It is the Manchester City striker Sergio Aguero who comes on to win his 88th cap. So that's it, no further changes can be made. 10 minutes to play. Argentina must score and win this match to stand a chance of going through. It's a draw, but Argentina are coming forward and the ball's on the left-hand side and it's pulled across to Higuain, who hits the chance over at pace, arrived left-footed, but lifted it over the angle of post and bar from 11 yards.
Well, he'd probably say it's on his weaker foot, he's left, but great play by Argentina. And you've got to think, if he catches it right, we've seen these always fly. They've just bubbled before he hit it, to be honest. And it's just gone high, really high over the crossbar. Can they hang on?
He's missed some big chances in some of the biggest games for Argentina, not least the World Cup final itself 4 years ago. Remember that miss? Big miss in one of the Copa America finals as well, which was seen as a pivotal moment. And there, Higuain had an opportunity and wasn't able to convert.
I would put Iwobi on and take one of the strikers off. You don't take Igalo off. I'd take Musa off. He looks a bit tired, and just put someone else in the open play this left-hand side with a bit of energy, because you will get a counter-attack. Iwobi would be ideal.
Argentina now with Aguero and Higuain on the field. Ball played out towards the left-hand side where Mesa is after it, and Argentina win it back, but a stretch from Moses keeps it for Nigeria. And we are now into the final 10 minutes of this match. Nigeria 1, Argentina 1, still Iceland 1, Croatia 1, and Nigeria playing it forward, but a free kick given against Musa on the halfway line for his challenge on Mascherano.
Well, we've got a bit of good luck there, I think, Argentina. I didn't see much in that.
Mascherano gets to his feet and gives the ball to Banega, who passes it through the middle. A fortunate bounce of the ball to Higuain. Big Argentine number 9 turns and plays the ball here to the right-hand side where Mercado joins the attack. Pavon is there. Mercado's cross is blocked and then it's cleared away, but only partly. And Argentina have got it back with Pavon on the right-hand side. Pavon's cross is deflected off Etebo, straight behind. Corner to Argentina from the right.
They just can't get the foot on the ball, Nigeria. They are working hard, doing this wrong. They're putting blocks on, they're heading it away, they're volleying it away, whatever the way get clear, but they just can't keep a hold of it.
Banega to take the corner from the right-hand side. It's a poor one. It's easily half volleyed away up into the sky. And then a foul for a push on Musa by Pavon. Nigeria have a free kick.
We've no rush to take this now.
Certainly will not.
Coming up to 82.5 minutes gone on the clock. And Nigeria, who had a great half hour in the second half, have come right off the pace. Started defended too deep for me.
The referee indicates that he is adding time on. Goalkeeper Uzo will take this free kick now, which he strikes down the left-hand side as Nigeria play. And now Musa receives it on his right foot. Musa slips the ball between Mascherano and Mercado, and Igalo has got away, and Igalo's shot is blocked by the goalkeeper, but it comes out to Mikel, but he can't reach it actually. And now Argentina can't get it away. Moses round the outside, back onto his left foot. The ball is pulled across to the edge of the area. Mascherano stretches, just gets there ahead of Musa.
Yeah.
Free kick though is given for the next challenge on Ndidi. And this is 20 yards out.
Banega a little bit late, feeling the pace, slides in, and it is a foul. I don't know what he's arguing for. I know they always do, but it's a goal for me. Could he not get his head up, square it?
1-1, Argentina in a match they must win to reach the last 16. And the other result currently is going their way. Iceland 1, Croatia 1. But obviously it could change there, it could change here. Could be a dramatic next 10 minutes or so. So do not go anywhere. If you're in your car, stay on the road. Free kick
What if we just pulled out outside the house?
Stay in the car.
What? What if his supper's ready?
This World Cup comes round only once every 4 years, Chris.
All right.
You have supper every night. Okay. Here is Argentina. Nigeria with the free kick that is swung wide by Etebo, round the wall, but clipped the side netting as well. And it's a goal kick to Argentina. The supporters here, and again, if you weren't listening earlier, most of this stadium, it is dominated by the blue and white shirts. If Argentina get out of this, 64,468 inside this stadium. If Argentina get out of this, if they win this game, St. Petersburg is going to be amazing this evening. The place will not sleep, honestly. Mascherano, that Kelly Cates will be wishing she was here, I can tell you that much. The ball in the centre circle, out to the right-hand side to Mercado. Mercado now lifting it over the top, but Pavon slips at the crucial moment, and back it comes towards the halfway line, and Argentina have to start again with Otamendi. And now it's chipped forward by Banega, and now to the edge of the area. Oh, wonderfully chested down. Mazza into the penalty area. Has the referee given this as a penalty? Mascherano's furious. It's not been given as a penalty. Mascherano has run there 30 yards to the referee to remonstrate with him, and runs with him as the referee just says, get on with it. No. It's not a penalty.
Very good refereeing. Great ball, Banega again. He's got a great range of pass, hasn't he? Tonight, some of his passes have been brilliant. It was a well-timed tackle. There was nothing wrong with it.
They're still appealing, but the referee's having none of it. And now Messi takes it up, plays the pass, which runs a little wide actually out to the left-hand side where Mesa turns, and then the ball is shanked across. Oh, Messi on his left foot turns, tries to spray it to the right-hand side where Mercado was arriving, but it was just intercepted by Nigeria. So it's still 1-1. Argentina are going out of the World Cup here at the group stage. Mascherano, little ball from him now to the right-hand side. Mercado is there. Mercado's cross towards the penalty spot is steered into the net. They've done it. They've scored. What a goal for Argentina. That could do it and send them through. It was brilliantly finished. And Marcos Rojo is the man who has come up with the goal. He is mobbed by his teammates. The stands are going absolutely crazy. Diego Maradona's woken up, he's on his feet. and Argentina lead Nigeria by 2-1.
What a finish, Rojo. Great ball in. He had so much time, but he didn't. He could have controlled it if he wanted to. He just wraps his right foot round it, bottom corner. What a finish that is. Great ball in. What is he, 12 yards out? Wow, what a finish. Right foot volley. Side foot it, bottom corner. Keeper absolutely no chance. What a goal.
In the 87th minute. Amazing. Marcos Rojo, who, as we know, hardly ever scores. It's only his third goal for Argentina. But if you remember back 4 years ago, Chris, in Porto Alegre, Marcos Rojo scored the winner against Nigeria then in the group match in Brazil.
Well, they should have marked him closer, shouldn't they?
And now, where did he come from, Rojo?
Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Well, it hasn't settled down yet. Sampaoli, the coach, went crazy. Everyone from the bench was involved in the celebrations. The atmosphere inside the ground now, they're all on their feet. It feels like the whole of the Argentine has us surrounded here with blue and white flags. They've come from Cordoba and River Plate, Rosario, you name it. They're here in Russia, in St. Petersburg, and they think their team has got themselves out of jail. Could change, of course.
Well, they don't want to sit back. That's a foul. They're going to play this long into the box. They don't want to sit back, Argentina. Just do what you've been doing.
It could change yet if Iceland are able to edge in front against Croatia. And it is 1-1 in that match. They kicked off a minute ahead of us in that other game in Rostov. Nigeria are going out. And again now we see the supporters all over the stadium, on their feet, bobbing up and down. Nigeria, though, with a free kick towards the edge of the penalty area. Cleared away. Nigeria have to defend. They have to get back in position here. Argentina perhaps thinking about snatching another one, although the experienced head of Higuain doesn't do anything silly. He just keeps the ball on the far side. And we're currently in the 89th minute, very nearly in the 90th. Now Alex Iwobi's going to be brought on. This is hard to bear for Nigeria, who battled their way back into this match. But Argentina have got strong. The substitutions have helped Argentina, Chris, no question about it. And there has been a goal in the other match in Rostov. What has happened, Arlo White?
Croatia, John, have probably sealed the group win. Ivan Perisic with the goal in the 89th minute. Lovely finish with his left foot. So Croatia, it appears, will finish top of the group with maximum points. The last time they did that was their first ever World Cup finals as an independent nation in 1998, and they went on to the semis. It looks like the end of the road for Iceland. Iceland 1, Croatia 2.
Iceland are going out, Nigeria are going out as well. They must score, but if Nigeria score, they will go through. And they've brought on Iwobi. That's the last change by Nigeria. Iwobi has come on for one of the three central defenders, Omaruo. And Argentina now with the ball on the halfway line. It's just clattered 3/4 of the way up the lower tier of the stand. Ball, though, delivered back by the ball boys and girls. And Nigeria now, Igalo is chasing the ball into the full-back position. An overhead kick away. Alex Iwobi of Arsenal onto the field. And Nigeria, though, lose possession. Higuain might have been fouled on the halfway line. He threw himself down. Messi, though, in possession. Messi up to the edge of the box, goes round Balogun, takes it to the byline, wins a corner for Argentina. Goal kick, bounced back onto him.
Yes, it did.
Goal kick for Nigeria. We've got 4 minutes of added time, and we are just into them. What a night. Great drama, great World Cup drama for you, live from St. Petersburg, here on BBC Radio 5 Live. It's not over yet. Nigeria have to score. Goalkeeper Uzoho takes this. It's headed on by Mikel. It's headed away by perhaps the winning goal scorer, Marcos Rojo of Manchester United. Brilliant finish on his right foot, arriving in the box. Buried it in the bottom corner. Mikel's been shown a yellow card in the midst of everything that's been happening. And they're throwing to Argentina, and now of course it's Argentina who are in no hurry. And I'm looking all around this crowd of almost 65,000 people here under the the still light night sky up here in the north, not too far away from Finland, right on the Gulf of Finski itself, as the ball is headed through the middle, and Messi could be away. Messi into the area, and an absolutely vital interception by the St. Petersburg-born Idowu to deflect it out of play. What a great job he did there against Lionel Messi. But then takes a free kick, because the final Nigeria change is going to be made, and Simi Nwankwo is coming onto the field. They just call him Simi. He's another forward, so that is the final change. Musa is off, so seconds left really. 4 minutes indicated. We've had almost 2 of them. I suspect it'll be more than 4 minutes that will be played, so they've got 2 minutes to save themselves, Nigeria, as Messi is quite heavily challenged actually. Down to our right by Mikel, who's just been shown a yellow card. Mascherano is still bleeding from that cut next to his eye. The referee's talking to Otamendi and to Messi, who's back up onto his feet. I mean, we've seen him get so much rough treatment over the years. It's amazing that he is able to keep getting himself back up. But it's a free kick to Argentina, and the referee says to Messi, you might want to think about taking this at some point. And the Argentina fans, the hordes and hordes from the Argentine, are waving their shirts and their scarves above their heads all around the stadium, trying to see their team through to the last 16 here. They were up against it, but it looks as though they've dug themselves out of this hole. Throwing to Nigeria. We've played 3 minutes of added time as Mascherano is fouled, and it's a free kick inside Nigerian territory. We're in the final minute of added time. We can hardly hear ourselves think here. The other game has finished, so Croatia have won the group. Croatia have beaten Iceland by 2-1, and they are out. Here, Nigeria are going out unless they can score. And Argentina are unwilling to take the free kick, and Messi's been booked for time wasting. There's a thing.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't come back to haunt Argentina. Here's Messi taking it on down the right-hand side into the full-back position, and the assistant is flagging, but the referee has acknowledged him and waves play on, and the ball is played forward for Nigeria. They can't even get it into the Argentine half. I make it, we've got 10 seconds left. Sampaoli is a ball of energy on the edge of the touchline, as he always is. Messi has deflected the ball away, back for a goal kick. The Argentina players are saying to referee Chequia, that must be it. He's saying no, there's still time to play. Aguero tries to close it down. Balogun plays it forward to the halfway line. It has to go forward. Idowu lifts it up towards the edge of the box. It bounces through to Armani, the goalkeeper, who's able to take it just as Atebo is arriving.
That's time, John.
That's it. It's over. And Argentina have found a way through to the last 16 of the World Cup. Nigeria agonisingly have been knocked out. Yet again, Argentina have beaten Nigeria in the group stage of the World Cup, and the Nigeria players are down and indeed out, and the Argentina players, led by captain Messi, who scored a wonderful goal tonight, but they came up with the winner in the 87th minute, and they're still in the World Cup.
Well, you've got to feel for Nigeria that they had a very good second half. They had probably a couple of chances. On another day they'd put them away and probably win the game. But give Argentina credit, they come strong at the end. They had a very good first half. Messi was brilliant first half, not quite a second, but they come great with a fantastic goal by Rojo, which deserves to win a game. Fantastic finish, and Argentina go through, very surprisingly really.
And tonight in St. Petersburg, it's going to be quite a place to be. I don't think in this former capital of Russia, right back to the days of Peter the Great himself, that they will have ever seen anything like what will be happening in this city tonight, because these supporters from Argentina who have come here, they were hoping they would reach the next stage. I suspect they feared they would go out. Well, they are jubilant, and the players are still on the pitch. I can see they're jumping for joy. Di Maria has jumped into the and well, he might, because he had an awful night, Di Maria.
He probably tried to jump on his teammate and missed him.
And Higuain there with Messi in the centre circle. And Nigeria's players have slipped away, most of them. I can see down there with his hands on his knees, leaning over, Wilfred Ndidi of Leicester City, and Etebo as well, the midfielder. They're absolutely crushed by what has happened here. But it's a night of real drama, and all of the stories about Argentina, all of the discord, all of the upset. They talked about, didn't they, how this week they'd gone to the pineapples in the Argentina squad. That meant there'd actually been fights between some of the players. Well, now they look like a cohesive unit in the centre circle here in St. Petersburg as they turn away and acknowledge all of these fantastic Argentine supporters inside the stadium. The final score here, Nigeria 1, Argentina 2. So Argentina go through, Croatia win the group, Iceland and Nigeria are out. Kelly, what a night.
High emotion in the stadium at St. Petersburg as Argentina progressed. Just to recap that table, as John told you, Croatia finished top of Group D with 7 points. Argentina in second place go through to the last 16 with 4 points. Nigeria third with 3 points, and Iceland in second place with 2 points. Adam says, though, Argentina looked like a pub team tonight, very lucky. Jay says Argentina don't deserve the win. A draw would have been fair. Messi missing again in the second half shows for sure he is still the second best player on the planet. I don't want to look too far ahead, but in terms of Ronaldo-Messi comparisons, what's going to happen in the round of 16 is that France will play Argentina on Saturday, June the 30th. Uruguay will play Portugal later that same day. And if Argentina beat France and Portugal beat Uruguay, then on Friday the 6th of July at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Nizhny Novgorod, it will be a quarter-final in the World Cup. Argentina against Portugal, Messi against Ronaldo. But before we look ahead too far into all of that, let's bring in Tim Vickery, who's our South American football correspondent. John Murray was saying in commentary, all the discord, all the arguments, all the problems with Argentina will all be forgotten tonight. Will they, Tim?
Until they start thinking about the France game, because I'm sure France will have a look at that and think, well, we can beat this lot. 2 right-footed goals from a pair of lefties, Messi and Rojo, and Argentina digging deep. But I wonder whether Peter will feel this is a story of Nigeria not quite doing enough. Was it there for the taking for Nigeria, and they tried to just get over the line when had they been a little bit bolder, they could have pushed Argentina back into their own half and really taken control? Was this more about Nigeria failing, a young team failing man management, than it was about Argentina digging deep? That's a question I'd love to put to Peter.
Well, Tim, we'll talk about that, and we'll talk lots more about it after 9 o'clock when Tim Vickery rejoins us. But Peter, first of all, the reaction to Nigeria going out with an 87th minute goal from Argentina, having played the way they did, and particularly in the second half.
Yeah, I just get messages from my friends, Nigerian friends from Lagos, London, heartbroken. Just, you can feel by my voice. It's terrible to lose in the last minute goals. But as Tim said, we could do more. That's for sure. But we just had in our back of our minds, a point is enough. Let's be careful, let's not be too ambitious. But then there's a price to pay. We had to go for it, and we equalized it. Argentina didn't look. They were in ball, they had the possession, but they didn't have so many chances. So now we will be talking about the penalty that could have been given against Iheanacho in the first half. But I'm really proud of the boys. Obviously, everybody will praise them. If the comments coming that Argentina doesn't deserve to win, that means everybody saw that they didn't actually deserve it. But of course, brilliant 2 goals from right-footers. With left-footers with the right feet, and they got the job done. That's what you need to do. And Nigeria will just have to learn from another experience against Argentina. It's a young squad. The African Cup's coming next. Need to pick themselves up, and we have a bright future with this squad.
Well, with Argentina beating Nigeria 2-1 in St. Petersburg this evening, the only team that could have thrown a spanner in the works as far as Argentina were concerned were Iceland. They played Croatia in Rostov, but Croatia won that one 2-1. Arlo White and Stephen Warnock were watching. How did they look, both those teams, Arlo, given that Croatia go through top of the group?
Yeah, it was a good game, Kelly. It was very entertaining. It was on a knife edge for a while. We can see Iceland's players. They are pretty glum-faced. They're mingling with their fans in the stands, taking selfies and holding their kids and kissing their girlfriends and wives. Their journey is over. Remember, they did win their qualifying group by finishing ahead of Croatia, who then had to go into a playoff, but it's Croatia who have had the last laugh here tonight. They topped the group with 9 points out of 9. They will face Denmark in Nizhny Novgorod in the last 16 on Sunday. Milan Bardel of Fiorentina, he opened the scoring. It was a very tidy right-footed volley, waist high. He thumped it into the ground and up into the net. Then Gylfi Sigurdsson equalised from the spot to make amends for his miss against Nigeria in the last game. That was after Dejan Lovren handled the ball. At that point, Kelly, after Marcos Rojo's winner for Argentina, one Iceland goal would have seen them qualify in second place. There was a goal, but it was from Croatia's Ivan Perisic in the 90th minute to seal the win, to seal the group win, and to seal Iceland's exit.
Stephen Warnock, Croatia go through, as we're saying, top of the group with a maximum of 9 points from their 3 games. What are their chances going forward? How do you think they'll cope in the later stages?
Well, you wouldn't want to play them, that's for sure. You wouldn't want to, with the squad they've got, the players they've rested today, they'll be full of confidence. They look comfortable at times tonight. Iceland put them under a little bit of pressure from set pieces, but they are a very, very dangerous outfit. Semi-finals, you wouldn't expect it. You'd expect them to get there or thereabouts. They are a quality outfit.
Well, Croatia faced Denmark in the round of 16 on Sunday, the 1st of July. That one will be a 7 o'clock kickoff in Nizhny Novgorod for that game against Denmark in the round of 16. It's been an eventful evening, mostly though in St. Petersburg. John Murray.
And they're still celebrating here, Kelly. They've actually gone again to give them another round of thanks, the Argentina players. What's interesting, I think, is, and I don't know whether to read too much into this, but Jorge Sampaoli, the coach, I haven't seen him involved in this. I can't pick him out. I've been trying to find him with my binoculars, but I cannot see him down there at all.
I think he left straight away, John.
He did indeed go down the tunnel. So, you know, for the coach not to be involved in this, and these are lengthy celebrations, they've gone back into the centre circle. There are still thousands and thousands of Argentina supporters inside the stadium who are looking to milk this and enjoy the moment, and presumably also now make plans to head to Kazan for that match against France. But finally now they turn and head off the field. But I mean, they've been a disparate bunch, haven't they, this week? But in the cradle of the Russian Revolution, it's all come good for them.
John Murray for now, thank you very much for that. So Argentina go through second in the group behind Croatia. Changed all the way through the evening. We'll be reflecting on that game between Nigeria and Argentina. We'll talk a bit about Iceland against Croatia. We'll also have to talk a little bit about Denmark's 0-0 draw against France in the World Cup Daily Podcast. But all of that is coming up after the BBC News with Rob Watts.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
A British man has been found guilty of planning a terror attack in Westminster and making bombs for the Taliban in Afghanistan. Khalid Ali, who's 28, was arrested carrying 3 knives near Parliament last year. Our Home Affairs correspondent is Leila Nathu.
He was captured on CCTV scoping out Downing Street, the Ministry of Defence, Scotland Yard and the MI6 building in Vauxhall. But his story did not begin there, because around 6 years previously, Khalid Ali had made his way to Afghanistan, and it was there that he joined the Taliban and became a bomb maker for the group.
A transport company says it's cooperating with the emergency services after one of its lorries was involved in a deadly collision with a bus. 2 men, the driver of the double-decker and a passenger, were killed in the crash on the A47 in Cambridgeshire. Uber says it's pleased to have been granted a conditional 15-month licence to continue operating in London. It had previously been refused permission because of concerns, including the way it handled allegations of crimes in its cars. Here's the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan.
What's clear is that the decision we made was the right one. Uber have changed radically their approach globally and also in London. They're going to change the way they operate. They're on probation, and we will make sure we monitor them closely.
Iran, Syria and Russia have opposed the UK's call for weapons inspectors to be allowed to apportion blame for chemical attacks. The Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson made the proposal at a meeting of the International Chemical Weapons Watchdog. Currently, the inspectors are only allowed to confirm that an attack has taken place. President Trump has described a US Supreme Court ruling in favour of his travel ban on mainly Muslim countries a tremendous success. The policy's been deemed unconstitutional by lower courts. It prevents people from 5 countries entering the US. And today was the hottest day of the year so far in Britain, beating yesterday. The top temperature was recorded in Porthmadog, where it reached 30.6 Celsius.
Federer having to show patience. One serve away from the title.
Yeah,
an ace from Federer.
3 sets to love. 6-3, 6-1, 6-4.
Champion for an 8th time.
Wimbledon 2018.
Finishes it off. Punches the air in celebration.
Starts Monday on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra.
Hello, I'm Danny Rose and welcome to the World Cup Daily Podcast.
From BBC 5 Live, this is the World Cup Daily Podcast.
Perfectly done, almost, by Danny Rose there. We will be hearing more from him later in the podcast. My name's Kelly Cates. Welcome to the 5 Live World Cup podcast. Coming up, we're going to find out why Harry Kane's a bad neighbour. We'll delve into the England camp, and it's a case of don't cry for me, Argentina. At least not just yet. Joining me, Peter Odemwingie and Phil Neville. Peter has been supporting Nigeria, who went out thanks to that 87th minute winner for Argentina. And Phil was at France-Denmark earlier, so I think we'll have to scrape you both off the ball.
Don't ask me about that game.
Well, we may just brush over it. We'll just touch on it a little bit later on. First, though, to talk about Nigeria's game against Argentina. Phil, what did you make of it?
I mean, it was an incredible game. There's been so much controversy around this Argentina team. You didn't know what to expect tonight, but they were fantastic in the first half. Came out, played with energy, spirit, togetherness. In the second half, I thought Nigeria were fantastic. And the end to the game was a killer for Nigeria. Argentina probably just shaded it in the end, and it was poignant at the end. I think you was right. Sampaoli just went straight down the tunnel, and you wonder what it's like behind the scenes there.
You do wonder what it's like behind the scenes there. Tim Vickery is on the line now, a South American football correspondent who will be joining us increasingly throughout this tournament as the South American styles stay in the competition. Tim, what will this do inside the Argentina dressing room?
Well, it'll bring them together. It's like a tango. It's like a Buenos Aires tango. It's as dramatic as they come. It's a victory right in the spirit of a fella getting a lot of hammer now, who is Javier Mascherano, who's held the team together for years. His legs have gone. He's nowhere near the player that he used to be. But there he is, never, ever hiding. He doesn't hide. The strength of personality of Mascherano, despite all the errors that he made and the penalty that he's given them away, it's a symbol of this victory. Now, whether Mascherano can stand up to what the French will throw at them on Saturday, that's another story. But for the next few hours, after the difficult few days that they've been through, I think Argentina have the right to celebrate.
It's also, Tim, because finally Lionel Messi is up and running in this World Cup. OK, it wasn't a vintage performance, but he did get on the score sheet.
It's a great goal. It's not the same as one that Maradona scored against Belgium in the semi-final of '86, but it's a little bit similar. You know, going down that right channel and bending the shot across. And when we were 5 minutes from the end, and it looked as if Argentina were going to go out, I was thinking, well, at least Messi turned up. So in the post-mortems and the inquests, everything's not going to be thrown at him, because it really shouldn't be. If Argentina reached the World Cup final 4 years ago, if they reached the finals of Copa Americas in 2015 and 2016, if they qualified for this World Cup, it's because of Messi. The little man has been Hercules. He's carried a team with a number of very ordinary players. He's carried them on his little shoulders, and there's a limit to what one man can do.
Peter, even while you're still feeling the sting of the defeat, can you appreciate Messi's goal?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm a big fan of his. So, yeah, it was a fantastic thing. he's turned up finally for his national team as expected. That's why it was hard to predict. Before the game I knew, just like individual performances do make a difference in some games, and this was the time he looked provoked. That's why I said I looked at his face before the game. So if I was a manager, I'll be looking at him. His body language changed completely to what he was in the first two games, from covering his face during the national anthem to looking really focused. Then the beard actually suited him in this game. So I did see that he meant business before the game. He doesn't look fresh as he used to be, but he rolled up his sleeve at the right time for his team.
The players did, though, didn't they? To be fair, in the first 45 minutes, I thought they came out. Higuain came out, made a difference. Di Maria, they all pressed. They played with a bit of spirit in the game, which you've not seen in the. I thought it was a great picture when he scored the goal and he was looking up to the sky. I think you think to yourself, these players don't play without pressure. That's pressure, and he's carrying the weight of Argentina on his shoulders. We want probably Messi in the later rounds of the competition, but I'm still not convinced by this Argentina team.
Well, the rest of the players behind it. But Messi becomes the first player in World Cup history to score a goal as a teenager, in his 20s and in his 30s. He's not as fresh-faced as he was when you played him in 2008, Peter.
Yes,
and got his shirt.
I did show you the picture, and you right away, that was the first thing you noticed. So I was suggesting is what parenting brings a bit more stress.
But a lot of pressure has been on his shoulders. In terms of being on the same pitch as him, do you realise even more how special he is? Does he feel different when you're on the same pitch as him?
Yeah, he does. He can change the game at any time. He wins free kicks. It's hard to take the ball off him without fouling him. He can score from free kicks. He can give a nice assist. He's quick. Like this goal today. How many times he will give him a ball like this? But probably he will, not me. But yeah, the control, the ball doesn't drop. He just picks it on his stride and then finishes with his weaker foot. Is fantastic. But so many compliments to Argentina. I think some of it is credit to Nigeria because 87th minute. I think maybe not everybody noticed. Messi lay down on the floor before the final whistle, trying to waste time. And as soon as he heard the whistle, he got up right away on his feet. This shows how much.
For that, didn't
how
he?
much? Yeah, this is how much stress they went through, and it only shows that Nigeria did well. He got a yellow card at the end of the game for wasting time. This shows like how much how hard it was for them. So I'm proud to be a Nigerian today. It's the youngest team we've ever put out in a World Cup. We have African Cup coming next. Qatar. There's some of I think maybe most of these players, apart from Mikel, maybe will still be playing in the Nigerian squad.
Tim, when we look at how hard Argentina found it against Nigeria in St. Petersburg, the point that Tim made about the point that Phil made about not being convinced by the rest of the Argentina team, and I know you talked about Banega being there to help Messi and to provide the assistance for him. But aside from that, how good are they really?
No, I don't think they're very good at all. I think they're really, really struggling. I mean, even Banega rarely plays the full 90 minutes and rarely plays two good games one after the other. They have serious problems. And as I've repeatedly been saying, between 1995 and 2007, Argentina won the World Under-20 Cup on 5 separate occasions. And more important than the trophies were the players that they were producing for the senior side. Since 2007, Argentina's Under-20 sides have been terrible. And this has now filtered through to what we've seen over these last 3 games for Argentina. This was a very old side that they put out tonight. They don't have a class goalkeeper. They don't have a class centre-back. They don't have a class full-back. And they're still having to field Javier Mascherano in the centre of midfield. So it's very hard to see how they can stand up to the French on Saturday. It's going to be if Argentina can make a challenge, it's going to be a little bit the way that it was 4 years ago when they went to Brazil with individual talent. That individual talent was unfit at the end of the season, and they just played from a bunker, and they managed to get themselves through. They hardly scored any goals in the knockout round at all. It was Messi with little bits of individual genius, and it was Mascherano holding the defence together. Well, Mascherano is no longer able to hold the defence together the way he did 4 years ago, so it's very, very hard, I think, to see Argentina putting in a challenge. And if I was France, I'd be very, very happy about playing them rather than Croatia.
And as you said, Mascherano gave away the penalty for the foul on Balogun. But before that, should there have been a penalty, Peter?
I think so. It's dangerous play. The ball was very high. But That's
this is
the grey
Rocco
area
on
still.
Iheanacho.
Rocco on Iheanacho, yeah, I think so. This is when you want to know who decides to have maybe it should be like in tennis, you can have 2 calls when you decide when you want to use it, and then the rest is up to the referees, because you can argue that situation, I think.
Well, the players are already doing that, I think. You see so many of them making that rectangle sign where they go, they point to the screen and say, no, make sure you go over there and look at it.
The yellow card, now it's the TV screen.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think it was a penalty for on Mascherano. I thought the forward just used his body and went down. I thought he was unlucky, Mascherano. There's a spell of 10 minutes after that where Argentina lost their heads. They went flying into everywhere. You thought, there's going to be a red card here. Then they got the composure back a bit. But I was really impressed with Nigeria in the second half. I thought they were good on the counter-attack. I thought every time Musa went forward, there was danger down the flanks. Look, I think Nigeria was unlucky to lose the game.
Nigeria unlucky to lose the game.
Sorry,
only go, Tim.
What one doubt that I would have about that Nigeria penalty is, what on earth is Mascherano doing marking one of their centre-backs on a strategic point like the near post? No, he can't possibly compete. He's only half as high as the centre-back. So, you're just looking at that and you're seeing a team that has organisational deficiencies.
Tim, you talked about Mascherano before. Has he took on the mantelpiece of being sort of like the manager quietly? Because it looked like he was trying to be the manager on the field tonight. Is that how you're reading it from South America?
Indeed, yeah. He is the little boss. That's his nickname, and I think he's becoming the big boss. I mean, even the formation that they used, this wasn't a Sampaoli formation. This was the senior players, led by Mascherano, saying, for crying out loud, can we just do something simple? We don't want a back three. We don't want wingers playing as fullbacks. Just give us a back four. Give us something simple that we can understand. And I think Mascherano is the spokesman of the players who forced that change.
Well, it worked for Argentina, certainly in terms of the scoreline, maybe not as convincing in terms of the performance. The performance by Nigeria, though, was convincing, which just makes it sting all the more, Peter. What did they get right, particularly in the second half?
Just raise the tempo and probably attacked with more numbers. We were forced to do that. Odion Ighalo they were showing images of him, how they were consoling him, so he will obviously remember even after the header that we were claiming a penalty from Rojo, he could still finish that, and then he had from a tight angle, but he still had a chance to score. And Didi was put in a nice position to score. He scored for Leicester, a beautiful goal like that. So the young boys, they will say they were this close to this, making it happen, going through the next round, and finally getting a result with Argentina. But I just can feel the quietness in the dressing room now, and the disappointment of course after I think it's a good performance. They didn't have any chances really, Argentina.
I think what happens in football sometimes when you go into a game, you think the Nigerian probably thinking this is Messi, this is Higuain. They're probably in awe a little bit, and then they get to a point where they're 1-0 down 45 minutes from going home and think, do you know what, we've got nothing to lose here. And all of a sudden the shackles came off, and all of a sudden they played with freedom, and they thought, you know what, let's just go for it. And when they had that attitude, I thought they played really well. The first half I thought they played with a little bit of fear, where they thought, a draw might just do us good here. I'm not sure Nigeria can play like that. I think their style is to go forward for the win.
Well, they nearly did get the draw, and you're probably the most laid back of all the guests we have on the podcast, Peter. You come in very easy going, fairly quiet. No, on time. Just about on time, but definitely on time.
I love that.
I know my way around this town.
And yet, I have never seen you as angry as when that goal scored by Marcus Rocco went in. What were you annoyed about?
Well, just the fact that it's last minute. I don't know, you lose your man. Somebody had to be closer to him. But I think what happened after I saw the replay, 3 players ran to Aguero, because normally, the guy was putting a cross in with just one touch, and everybody just ran towards Aguero because you know him, you've seen him tapping it in. So 3 players went to him, and then they forgot. Moses was a bit late, and it's just you see Rojo scoring on the last minute against your team with the right foot, and
he's weaker right foot,
and you say to myself,
if Aguero scores, you think that's fine, but normal. Rocco in the middle scoring with his weaker right foot, that's poor defense, poor concentration in the last minute. And it wasn't as if they sliced them open with an unbelievable bit of skill. It was a cross from the right hand side into the box, which you thought that Nigeria should have handled.
And we were in, I think, more numbers than they were, so that just made it a bit I had to throw my cap.
The player who really got out of jail was Higuain, because the one chance had fallen to him. And you could see his body language afterwards. Higuain is the man in Argentina who missed the chances in the 3 finals. The World Cup final in 2014, the Copa America final 2015, another Copa America in 2016. In all 3, he's the villain of the piece. He missed the key chance. And then Argentina's big chance fell to him from the cross from the left, and he put it over the bar, and you could see it in his face. Absolutely crestfallen. That now will be forgotten. So that right-footed goal from Marcos Rojo has really got Higuain out of jail.
All the talk is about Argentina, because they started the day bottom of Group D, finished it in second place, and they will qualify for the last 16, and it was such a dramatic way to do it. Croatia, meanwhile, have gone about things in a much more sensible way. They have a maximum 9 points at the top of the group. They've beaten Iceland 2-1, having made 9 changes to their starting 11 tonight. And Tim, they look like a side who are just making steady, under-the-radar progress.
Well, what a midfield they have. They're a team who could do some serious damage. I saw them in warm-up. They played Brazil at Anfield, and the first half, Brazil couldn't get out of their own half, and that was a real eye-opener. Would you rather face Denmark, or would would you rather face France? And they've got Denmark, who haven't been at all impressive. So watch out for Croatia with the midfield, the wide players, and the striker, and a little bit of game management that they've got. I think they carry a threat, and they were far and away the best team in the group, weren't they?
They've probably been the best team in the competition. You know, I know we probably don't talk that much of them, but that midfield that Tim's just talked about, Modric, Rakitic, Brozovic, Perisic on the left-hand side, they're quality players. And like I say, I think in terms of consistent performances, they've been the best team in the competition the whole World Cup so far. So I watched Denmark today. Look, Croatia will go far in this competition.
They will. Do you think you see them going past Denmark?
Yes. Well, if Denmark played like they did today, I mean, Croatia will have not an easy game, because Denmark were very disciplined. But do you know what? I can't see Denmark beating them.
What is it you like? I mean, you mentioned the individual players at Croatia. What is it you like about the way that they play?
I like the style of play that they play. I think they are solid at the back. Lovren's done really well. He's impressed. The 3 in midfield control the game. I think it's difficult for teams to get the ball off them. Technically, they're good. Rakitic has this ability to break from midfield really well. Modric can find the pass. Mandzukic is an absolute animal up front. You would not like to play against him. So they've got a good mix of aggression, skill, technical ability, and I think teams have struggled to play against them because of that mix of quality that they've got.
What have you made of them so far this tournament, Peter?
Yeah, fantastic. As Phil says, one of the best midfield players. You know, they combine hard work with fantastic talent on the ball as well. Modric, the goal he scored, it shows a lot. He picks the ball sometimes from the central defender, starts the attacks, and he can finish as well. It's just a box-to-box. Like, his work rate is fantastic on top of the qualities he has. So he's the number 10. He played today. They made 9 changes, but he was still involved. So I'm sure the fresher legs, did the dirty job, let's say, for him. But I'm sure his presence was important for the team.
The best teams have been those that we've not expected. Mexico have been played really well. Colombia, I thought, played fantastic the other night. Croatia, those teams with expectations, like Germany, like Brazil, like Argentina, they've struggled. France have been really poor, even though they've got 7 points from 3 games. So the teams underneath those, I think, have relaxed and enjoyed the tournament. Whether they can do that in the last 16 when the real pressure comes, only time will tell.
Do you think it's that they've struggled at the beginning, those big teams? Is it also part of their plan to improve as the tournament goes on? Because you do often see that.
Well, you say that the teams that start the tournament well don't necessarily finish the tournament well, and you've got to say that France have got to improve. Germany, you think that might kickstart them the other night against Sweden, that result. Argentina, I can't see these improving that much. I really can't. I think Germany look like they've got problems in camp. Argentina are in disarray. France, they've not impressed me. So it might be a World Cup where we have a Leicester. It might be a World Cup where an unknown, unfancied team just go and win it.
Like Greece in the Euros, something like that.
Like Greece in the Euros, Portugal in the last Euros. Not the most fancied teams in the top 4 or 5. And you've got to say, Belgium, England, they've got great chances.
Talking about the Euros, Iceland put on a fantastic display, surprised everyone with their performances a couple of years ago. Has this been a bit flat, this World Cup for them, or would you have expected more?
Yeah, I don't know if they got a bit older now.
We all get older.
Just got tired, you know. They just need to, I don't know. You know, when you play a big game, a big tournament, you somehow get drained. You know, you gave everything, so then you need time again to get back to that level again. So. But at the same time, they're known. They made themselves known, and people prepare for them. Before they were underdogs, who is Iceland? You know, they will be like, nah, it will be an easy game. Now everybody gets ready for them. So that's just, I think, comes naturally.
Yeah. People know Iceland now. There's no surprise of the long throw-ins.
But Leicester City, let's say the first game when Mexico beat Germany. The next day. Many of you here who didn't believe in the England team as I did, now saying, I think we have a chance here. So I think that win from Mexico opened the eyes of people this people, everyone is playable. Then we saw Brazil struggle and actually even these guys are playable, you know, and then everybody says, oh, we all have a chance here, you know. And
I think Uruguay
it's a special World Cup so far.
I think Uruguay could be one of those teams that, you know, they're probably 5th, 6th in the pecking order, but do you know, they could be the one that surprised somebody as well.
Just looking at the round of 16, it all becomes so difficult to predict because of the reasons that you've been talking about. The first one is France against Argentina. That's on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Then at 7 o'clock, Uruguay against Portugal, which could be something of a battle. On to Sunday, 3 o'clock, Spain-Russia. It'd be extraordinary atmosphere in that match because that's at the Luzhniki Stadium, so it's in front of the sort of capital city and the host nations and everything. Croatia against Denmark is Sunday at 7 o'clock. Because of Denmark's involvement, you probably say that wasn't the juiciest of the ties, but you could.
Thanks,
but what I was going to say is you get to see Croatia on the upside.
Yeah, but there's some good. I mean, I watched France in all 3 games. France have come top of the group. They've won 2, drawn 1. You think, oh, brilliant form, but they've actually been really poor. It looks like there's no type of cohesion at all with Griezmann, Giroud, Mbappe, Dembele on the right, Lamar today. It was just pretty average, so they're going to have to hit top form to beat Argentina. Can Argentina keep recovering from the mess that's in their camp? There's obviously, if Mascherano's picking the team, then that's a shambles, isn't it? You know, if players are making their point. Like I say, Uruguay versus Portugal. Have Portugal peaked already? And if Uruguay, could they? I mean, you can't see Cristiano getting much space against Godin and Jimenez, so there's some great ties.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun to watch that one. Which one are you looking forward to, Peter?
That one will be an interesting game, Uruguay, because both ends are really, really solid. So Ronaldo still has to do a job for them, and Suarez, of course, wants to get into the debate. Who is better? Messi, him, but why don't talk about me? So, everybody has goals, you know. Strikers have their own goals. They want to outshine everyone else. So they will have a word to say in knockout stages. This is not where you get another chance. This is when I think you will see the best of every striker in the tournament.
I was at the Luzhniki today, and a lot of Russian fans were telling me that Russia not deliberately, we shouldn't say that, but they were happy to lose so they could stay in Moscow to play Spain and get the home advantage. And I wouldn't say Spain are playing fantastic. Would you? Have you seen much of Spain? They're not flowing like we think that they are. So Russia might have a chance as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think so, because Iran looked a really tough side to beat. You know, so they had a difficult game with Portugal. Then Iran was difficult. Then Morocco. You know, last chance to give their fantastic fans something to go home happy about. So. Yeah, they will be actually drained a little bit. I think they had 3 tough games and
physically tough games.
After a long season, you know, playing the host will be a tough challenge for them. So I won't write Russia off yet. On the paper, they're not the favourites, but we will see what Luzhniki and home support can give them.
Peter, we're going to be here for another half an hour, but this could be one of the last times we see you actually in the studio because you're leaving Russia. But how's it been? You've been home, you've been seeing your mum for the first time back as an adult, really?
Yeah, I've never been this busy. But, you know, I've become a dad over 5 years now. You know, 3 kids. I've been busy. I don't come here often. My mom missed me a lot, lots of my friends. But I've said it before, I was born in USSR, so you're talking Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan to Russia, Moldova. So I have friends from all over. So most of them came over, and it's not just for Russian Federation. And most of you who went to Georgian restaurants know that, you know, it's another country's kitchen, you know. You need to try Russian as well. So, but it's my country, you know. I grew up here, so many friends, and everybody gets involved, put in green shirts today. Most of them were supporting Nigeria. So it's been a great opportunity for them to show the good sides to the world, because many people had concerns before coming over here. But I'm sure you'll rather see it for yourself. And now they came, and many people changed their opinions about this country. It's as every other huge country, you know, with so many, like the population is so huge. You will have some people that, you know, step out of the line, let's say. But I think there's been a lot of change in that aspect here, and the fears of people before coming, I think they've gone now.
You didn't have any fears, obviously, because it's a country that you're familiar with. And your mum's become something of a star on the podcast, not just for her driving skills. Has she spoiled you?
Where are you heading to?
No, I was asking if she's spoiled you.
Yeah.
You were saying the other day, it's been really lovely being at your mum's house, and she's just done everything for you. It's like being a kid.
The 3 years I played for Locomotive.
As a player, you leave home really young, don't you?
Yeah,
so
I
it's
did.
nice for her to...
Yeah,
to
absolutely. And one of the reasons why I came to play here the 3 years was to spend some time with her, because I left home at 14 and she's never really seen me that much. And in the month of June, when we had off season, I will still be playing for the national team of Nigeria, so we didn't spend much time. It's the only time I felt like a king in many years, when the juice, the breakfast was ready before I even woke up, was the 3 years I spent with her here. So yeah, it's been great to be here. She's been helping a lot. She's actually researching as well while I'm on radio. She said, "Oh, the Argentinian fans actually 2 men in the stadium." So no, she's giving me trying to like give a few tips. Yeah,
getting all the information from your mum to make sure you're all prepared for it. You've been leaving your reviews for us on the podcast. Thank you very much for that. Fridge sent us this message: "Since the World Cup started, this podcast has been my morning ritual, much like Peter's morning ritual with his mum. It's informative and funny, but if they started a lottery, I wouldn't play, purely based on the dodgy sweepstake." Chappers in charge of that, I'm afraid. Still not sure what a melt is, though. Well, when Chappers comes back onto the pod, which I think will be on Thursday, then you'll find out what a melt is. Cameron says, everyone involved has a true passion for the game and is always in good humour. Thank you very much for leaving all those reviews. Thank you very much if you left a 5-star as well. And if you want to, remember you can always subscribe. Coming up, we will hear from Danny Rose. Now, though, here's the latest news with Rob Watts.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
A British man who made bombs for the Taliban has been found guilty of plotting a terrorist attack outside Parliament. Khalid Ali planned to target MPs and police and was arrested at Westminster while carrying 3 knives. Uber's ban on operating in London has been overturned. Transport for London refused to renew the company's licence last year, saying it was not fit and proper. Its drivers will now be able to continue working for 15 months. A major wholesaler has begun rationing beer, cider and some soft drinks because of the CO2 shortage. The gas is used to make them fizzy. Booker customers, including bars and restaurants, will only be allowed to buy up to 10 crates of beer at a time. And this year's record temperature has been broken again. 30.6 Celsius was measured in Porthmadog in North Wales, beating yesterday's high of 30.1.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
First in the travel news, Terminal 2 at Manchester Airport has got a problem with the power. There's been a power cut. It seems like it's been going on for a bit more than an hour now. About a quarter of an hour ago, the airport said that they're working on it. They're hoping to get it up and running soon, and they're trying to get 4 flights away. But it definitely seems like it's a case of check before you travel if you are due to leave Terminal 2 at Manchester Airport. And on the roads in Buckinghamshire on the M40 southbound, there's queuing traffic because of an accident earlier on between Junction 5 for Stokenchurch and Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabouts. All the lanes are open again, though. Rob Watts, 5 Live Travel.
The pit lane teams at the British Grand Prix. The cyclists warming up for the Tour de France. The umpire on centre court at Wimbledon. They're all ready. Are you? Take BBC Digital Radio with you this summer and don't miss a thing.
He has 2 corners to go. He can see the checkered flag.
They're on the Champs-Élysées. This is the finish of the Tour de France.
The applause of a centre court crowd who are all on their feet.
Download the BBC iPlayer radio app onto all your devices and enjoy BBC Digital Radio wherever you go. If you love radio, keep it digital this summer.
This is the World Cup Daily Podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the World Cup Daily Podcast. I'm Kelly Cates and I'm here with Peter Odemwingie and Phil Neville. And Steve Crossman, who's our man inside the England camp, has once again been very busy. He's been speaking to Danny Rose. Now, he had an interesting few weeks leading up to the World Cup. He openly discussed his depression and talked about not wanting his family to travel to Russia.
The FIFA World Cup. This is the World Cup Daily Podcast.
Danny Rose, welcome to the 5 Live World Cup Daily Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to talk a bit about your relationship with Gareth Southgate. Do you guys talk much? Do you talk about things which aren't football?
Yeah, I have a relationship with the manager outside of, these four walls. He's texted me, when I've been at Tottenham to see how I'm getting on. After previous camps, he's called me to see what my thoughts are on what we've done and how the games have gone. Before the Costa Rica game at Ellen Road, we went for a walk around the hotel. He spent about 10-15 minutes with me, and he was great. Then he had some nice words to say to me then, and even now we spoke on Friday, I think it was, before the game, and he just, explained a few things why I wasn't playing, and we spent about 10 minutes with each other, and at the end of that, he just said to me, no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling, just make sure I always go and speak to him.
Everybody wants to play, of course they do, and you're no different. Does your relationship with Gareth make it easier to take when you're not on the pitch, because he will explain it to you?
Yeah, it is a little bit easier. I know how the manager feels about me, and, he's honest. There's no beating around the bush. Yeah, it's not easy to take that I'm not playing, but things are done here now where, you play if you deserve to play. And if I was in the starting lineup for the first game against Tunisia, I would have been obviously over the moon. It would have been a dream, but, I would have had to look at myself and think, do I really deserve this, after the season I've had? So, I've got no arguments, and, yeah, it probably is a bit easier, having the relationship that I've got with the manager.
He always comes across as such a friendly bloke. I wonder if there's a moment when you and the squad have sort of seen the authority and thought, oh, OK, maybe not a guy to be messed with as well.
No, we know that he's not somebody you don't want to take the mickey. When people ask me outside of here, they always ask me what the gaffer's like, and I always say that he's too nice at times, but, there is a line, we know not to cross it, and the coaches have got a great setup because the gaffer's really relaxed and, approachable, and Steve Holland's the one that if you step out of line, if you do a bad pass, if you're late, he's the one to, give you a grilling. So I think they've got the balance, down to a T.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So everybody's on Steve's back in training. He's normally the referee, so in training everyone's on his back, and the gaffer just sits in the background and has no part of it.
I've got a plan now, because something I was asked before this interview was, can we find out something we don't know about Harry Kane? So I was thinking, how can I ask Danny Rose a question to find that out? And I've come up with an idea. Danny, tell us something we don't know about Harry Kane.
He's a bad neighbour.
Bad neighbour?
I'll give you that, yeah. We used to live on the same street. I was there first, and I think it's only right if I was there first I should be asked around for a cup of tea. Seeing as I'm a northerner, and not once did he ever ask me around for a cup of tea. So for those of you who don't know, I'd say Harry's a bad neighbour.
OK, so noisy neighbour, or just, not invited? Was it just that first moment? Everything else has been all right? Or was, you got off on a bad foot there, obviously?
Yeah, we got off on a bad foot, and, I've had to move. So, yeah, I've moved to a different area now, so I'm away from him. But no, seriously, I don't know what I could possibly say about him. He's, one day when he did his ankle towards the end of the season, I gave him a lift home from training, and, on the way back we spoke about just how he is and how he's got his mindset, and it's scary how hungry he is, and it's going to be very exciting to see the records he's going to break, not only in this competition but in the Premier League, and for his country. And I feel very lucky to share change room with him, share the pitch with him, and long may it continue.
Final one from me. if you manage to get yourself in the team, if England get to the last stages and there's 2 big ifs, I know obviously your family didn't come out here and we know why. From what you've seen in Russia, having lived in this sort of bubble in the forest, would you be comfortable now with them coming out if you're playing in England or in the tournament?
I'd have to check hotel prices first. But, no, I'd be open, definitely be open now to having my family out here. So no, let's hope we win on Thursday and then we beat whoever we play in the next round, and we'll see.
Really good to meet you, Danny. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, no problem.
Peter, that just reflects on what you were saying earlier about people who've changed their minds since they come over to Russia, because Danny Rose was adamant that it wasn't somewhere that he wanted his family to come over to, and now he's seen a different side of it. He can have that support here.
Yeah, looks like he reads the press. So lots of positive reports about the country, about the cities nobody have ever heard of. So so far everything people thought they will experience here has been the total opposite, and I'm not scared to use the word total opposite, because the fans have been really having fun here all together. If it's in Kazan, as you said, is a lovely place to be. St. Petersburg is fantastic, and people have actually been really friendly. I spoke with one of my friend of my relative this morning, and he said to me that he speaks English, so he said he's been just helping people around, happily doing it. And he said he saw a guy see a group of Swedish fans. He walked to them like they were confused. They didn't know how to call a taxi, so he sorted it out through his phone, gets them a taxi, puts them in, and just said, don't worry about even paying. He's ever paid that and then sent them away. And then one particular that made my mom laugh so much is it was in a town where people actually, there's no stadium there. It's the oldest town in Russia. It's Tver, it's called. And there was a lady there. They said about 70, 75 years old, and she was sitting in the train because it was so full. And then there was an African boy, like maybe Nigerian, I hope. So, and she stood up for him and said, "Sit, my son. You are a visitor here." So, and then I'm in the metro. I see German fans singing Chicharito even after losing. So everybody's having fun, really, and genuine fun. The world has moved on. I think this discrimination thing has been dealt with. Alexis Merton is a former player of Chelsea. He played in France. He played in England, so he's been doing a lot about that here. Of course, there's no smoke without fire, and if Daniel Rose said there was an issue, there is an issue. There was. I will say it's been a different feeling in the country, and it's just naturally getting better. Because in my time here, that I was talking about 8 years ago, I could hear some people arguing with fans who behave like that. They will be like nearly saying, stop this nonsense. They actually moved so far from it that I'm really happy about that. It's a very diverse society anyway. You come to Moscow, you see Armenians, Georgians, everyone. And African people, even there's a Nigerian restaurant now in Moscow. And when I was here, it wasn't there. It's fantastic. That's the best food in the world. So, yeah, it's been lovely. It's, as I said, it's a massive country, and, you sometimes will come across negative things. But Danny has changed his mind now. So it's because most of the people here so far had a good time, and fingers crossed everything stays that way.
I think they've put on one of the best World Cups we've had so far for a long time. In my time, anyway, I've not been to a place where I felt so safe, so happy, where the energy and atmosphere has been so good.
It's because you're not playing.
Yeah, probably because the infrastructure, the travel. I've not been. I know the traffic in Moscow is bad, but my vision of Russia is when you come here in December and it's cold and it's dark and it doesn't really get light. You think to yourself, I think I'd struggle to live in Russia. Now you think to yourself, I could live in Moscow all day long. It's one of the best cities I've been to. It's vibrant, it's cosmopolitan, and I just think the people are amazing. I think they've put on an unbelievable World Cup. What you're seeing on the field in terms of the entertainment, I think people are just having as much fun off the field.
Absolutely, and it's good to hear.
Anyway.
I can tell. Yeah, you're looking a bit tired as well.
Stag do this for me.
One of our commentators, who shall remain nameless, had lunch yesterday, and he said, "Do you know, this is the first time I've ordered chips on this holiday." And that was picked up on very quickly, because clearly this is not a holiday, or shouldn't be a holiday. But it does feel like there is a very festive feeling around. It's good to hear that Moscow's like this, even when there isn't a World Cup on, and that it does still feel like this. And I think sometimes people get confused between the regime and the people who live here. And when they have problems with one, they sort of tag it on to the people as well. Back to the football. The social stuff is lovely. Back to the football, though. Danny Rose talking about, who he's friends with, and talking about Harry Kane and living next door to him. In terms of actually playing a part in the games themselves, would you like to see him more? He's one of the players that we hear a lot of people saying they'd like to see him starting now.
Yeah, if you talk about commitment and bravery, and he's a brave boy, plays with a lot of commitment. I'm a big fan. If I was a manager, I'll have Rose in my team any day. Ashley Young is also, I think, making the best out of his position. He's a right-footed player, but his commitment, because he was an offensive player. And when you're not good enough for the big teams, then you have to add something to your game to get a shirt and be consistently playing there and starting games. So the competition for that position it's a fair one at the moment, and it's only good that there is a competition for that spot. So he's a left footer. There is sometimes he can cross it with the left, but Ashley is doing it well so far, also bringing it to the right. So it's two good players. It's up to the manager what he sees and the type of opponents that they're going to be playing against.
How important is it that when he comes out and he gives these interviews and he talks, as we've heard all the England players do, about the other players as their friends, and they seem like a really tight unit? How important is that, particularly for the players who aren't starting?
It's not always positive things you hear, but when you can openly criticize someone, it only means that you trust them to be open-minded about it. If there's something to talk about, they talk, but most of it is just jokes, of course. But it's a sign of trust between the boys, and it only strengthens the group really, and makes them more friends even.
We're going to talk about Group C now, because the time has come, Phil, to go back to not a particularly pleasant experience for you. I'm sorry. Denmark did play France. It was the first goalless draw of the World Cup. Fewest shots attempted at the World Cup so far, which is 15. The French fans have said on social media, a lot of them disgusted by their team's performance. Yeah. How bad was it?
Well, they were booing their own team with 20 minutes to go. At first, I thought they were booing.
Did you feel like joining in?
Well, I was. Me and Dion Dublin was sat behind me for 5 Live, and Dion was absolutely bored out of his brains, and so was I, because I expected more, because France were in a situation where they could just have the freedom to go and play, and they'd made so many changes. You thought to yourself, go and grab an opportunity to go and play for your country. And it looked like both teams, after about 2 minutes, had just said, right, we don't want to lose this game, we're going to draw it. Denmark showed no urgency to go forward, neither did France. France's quality was absolutely terrible. To be fair, no different than what they showed in the first 2 games. So I'm not so sure they can make that jump up to the next level for the last 16 games. That's why I think Argentina have still got a chance. It was totally out of character what we've seen in the World Cup so far, the game, and because I think both teams, one was through, one needed a draw, and when Peru went 2-0 up, my disappointment was that Denmark thought, well, do you know what, we could go for it here with 20 minutes to go, thinking we can finish top of the group. They didn't, and it was just an absolute bore fest. Was it just down to the fact that a draw was fine for both sides? Yeah, I think it was. I think it was just one of those games. I remember playing Bayern Munich in a Champions League group stage, and we both needed a draw with 20 minutes to go, and Omar Hitzfeld just looked over at Sir Alex Ferguson, and because we were charging around, and said, calm down. So they stopped playing, we stopped playing. It just became a pass around the back four, and it's the first time I'd ever seen it done, and I wasn't really comfortable with it, but maybe it just happens. Yeah, what did you think, Peter? I mean, did you stay awake for the whole game? I'm being honest, I slept off. I did. I was actually, let me say this, the fans, the body language of French fans, yeah. I recorded some of them walking. They were not that loud. There were a few of them in suits, like dressed up as frogs. It was funny. I said, taking the mick out of themselves. But you knew, I did ask them, like, what do you think today, boys? They said, yeah, they were not really worried about the game. There were changes made in the squad. Yeah. But then, that's when you think players should take the opportunity to make a name for themselves. Yeah. You should fly around and make your coach think about it the next game, because better than this it doesn't get if you want to impress your nation. So if it was me on the bench and they give me a chance, I will be getting opportunity. And you know, as long as they don't take pot shots from the halfway line. No. We'll not go there, Cal. The French supporters, they've probably saved up for the last 2 or 3 years thinking we're going to go for them first 3 games. They've played Peru, Australia and now Denmark, and they've not seen their team play well, so they're probably absolutely feeling as if like they've been let down by a team on paper or a squad on paper. You think this team can win the World Cup with that type of quality. They've not shown it yet.
Let's talk, though, about Peru, because you talked about them going 2-0 up against Australia. It's their first goals, their first win at a World Cup finals in 40 years. Tim Vickery rejoins us. Tim, we keep having to talk to you because these teams just keep doing so well. And I know Peru have finished, third in the group, and it hasn't been a perfect World Cup by any standards. However, to get that win, to get those goals, we saw amazing celebrations.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, I think they were terrific in the first 2 games. You have to remember, the progress that this team has made over the last 18 months or so has been absolutely astonishing. Their record away from home in World Cup qualification from mid-2004 until 18 months ago was no wins, 2 draws, 26 defeats, 14 goals scored, 70 goals conceded. That's Luxembourg. And in 18 months, 2 years, they've gone to a situation where they can take France on pretty much on even terms. I feel sorry for... Everything was hinging on the Denmark game. It was so important, the Denmark game, because they didn't want to need anything from France, and they didn't get anything from France. They were better than Denmark, and they just didn't get the breaks. And maybe, it's also it's first night nerves, and it means so much to these players. So many Peruvians have made the journey across. Anyone who can has made the journey across. They've sold their cars, they've sold their mother-in-laws, anything they can do to be there and cheer on the team. So it was a huge occasion for them. It's a young side, and the win against Australia is the first step towards coming back in 4 years' time and doing even better.
Let's talk about that volley by Andre Carrillo, because it was special, wasn't it?
It was terrific, and he's a player who so often frustrates because he doesn't score the goals that you think that he is capable of. But what a screaming finish, and what a great moment for the travelling army of fans. A great moment as well. You saw the 2 sides of Peru's captain, Paulo Guerrero, and wasn't it wonderful that the opposing captains joined the call for him to be allowed to play in the World Cup. It's a great piece of sportsmanship that I think should be remembered in this World Cup. But for that first goal, you can play up to Guerrero. He's so good at holding the ball and bringing others into the game and seeing the run of Carrillo. And for the second goal, you see Guerrero holding off the defender back to goal and getting in a shot. So a terrific game for him. Maybe Peru will now be looking back at that first game against Denmark and thinking, perhaps we should have started him from the off. He hadn't had a lot of football in 7 months, so they kept him on the bench. Maybe in retrospect, that's one thing they'll be looking at and thinking, if only.
Tim, you need to tell us about your wall chart as well, because you don't just have one that's a big sheet of stiff paper, even if it is in glorious Technicolor. You've gone one step better.
Yeah, I've got some shirts, although I've got one fewer shirt now because unfortunately I've had to take down the Peru shirt. But the Argentina shirt stays until Saturday at least. The Brazil shirt stays until tomorrow at least. The Uruguay shirt stays. And I've got the England shirt on top. So one by one, as these teams leave us, the shirts sadly come down from the wall chart.
How big is your house that you can put all the shirts up?
Well, no, I've only got those 5. So
still.
If you pay me a little bit more, I'll get a bigger house and buy more shirts. It's up to you.
Not my remit, I'm afraid, Tim. I would double your salary, but I mean it's not down to me. You talked about Brazil. Let's get the thoughts on Wednesday's fixtures. Group E then, Serbia against Brazil, 7:00 on 5 Live Sport for that one. What can we expect from Brazil against Serbia, Tim?
Well, who knows? They've been terrific for the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes against Switzerland, and the last 6 minutes against Costa Rica. Once they'd taken the lead, and then the nerves just disappear, and then they were great. And Costa Rica couldn't get the ball off them. Apart from that, we've struggled to see the side that we saw in qualification when, from the moment that the coach took over, Chichi, they just cut a swathe through everyone. But it's entirely different now. It's a different ballgame. The opposition are better, the opposition are more organised, and the pressure is really, really on. Now, you would expect Serbia, I think Serbia are a little bit slow, and you would expect Brazil's attacking talent to carve them up a little bit at the back, as the Swiss did at the end of the last game. But the Serbs have to win. Now, I'm sure it's not going to be a charge of the Light Brigade for them. I'm sure they're going to pick their moment and try and win it, perhaps off a set piece. But one thing that they are certainly going to do is frustrate Neymar, is try and wind up Neymar, because it's so easy to do. He is such a unique footballer in some ways. He's so wonderfully talented, but he's so strange. It's almost like he tries to rewrite the codes of football to make it a non-contact sport. This means that you can really get in him. And it's a question that I have for Phil. If you were defending against him, Phil, how would you treat him?
It's difficult. I think you're going to need help around him, because Neymar is not someone you can take on 1v1. He looked frustrated, Tim. I thought in the second game in particular, he looked frustrated. Didn't really get the freedom, because I think there was 2-3 men around him. I thought when Douglas Costa actually came on, it actually opened up a little bit of space for the other Brazilian players. Playing a little bit wider, hugging the touchline. I just wonder, do you think he'll go that way tomorrow?
No, they've lost him. Douglas Costa has got a muscle injury, may not play again in the tournament. So it's back to Willian. So they've lost Douglas Costa, and the muscular problem is not good. There's no diagnosis of exactly how long.
Was that from training or from the game the other day?
No, he picked it up in the game. Towards the end of the game, he kind of pulled up a little bit. So that's a loss for them, because he did help a little bit when he came on. I agree. One thing which obsesses me with the Brazil side, and again I'd love your thoughts on this, is the fact they don't have a captain. When Chichi, the coach, took over, Neymar had said he didn't want to do it anymore. He'd been the captain for the previous 2 years, and Chichi looked around and he didn't see a captain. So it's a different player every game. And tomorrow it's going to be the centre-back Miranda. It was Marcelo in the first game. I think Thiago Silva in the second. It's a rotating captain type thing, which I think is strange. I think you have a lack of a leadership structure on the field, and also sometimes you really need a leadership structure with Neymar.
Who's the most experienced player?
Thiago?
Thiago's the most experienced player, I would have thought, is he? So why don't they stick with him? Is he not guaranteed a place in the side, or...?
He wasn't in the side in qualification. He's come in since qualification, and I'm not sure it's a good move. He's come in for Marquinhos, who's quicker, and Marquinhos allows them to play with a defensive line higher up the field. However, given the fact that the Serbs will come in the air, I think it's probably the right thing for this game. But in terms of captaincy, if you remember the last World Cup, Thiago Silva couldn't cope at all. When the game against Chile in the second round went to penalties, the captain, instead of leading the side, he sat miles away from everyone else, just sat on a football, crying his eyes out. And at that point you thought, well, he just isn't leadership material. And maybe it's a problem in modern football anyway, the lack